Woo.
What is going on, everybody? It is episode 525 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today we have some special guests. One is returning from 7 months ago, and it feels like it was forever ago. It's really weird how short of a time that actually was. But Gothix is back today.
I am back? Yes. Why is it weird? Did you not want me back?
Well, it just feels weird, like it was so long ago. It feels like it was like 2 years ago, and it wasn't actually that long.
It did feel a long time.
But we have Graeme Wilson on the show as well.
No one
Director
knows.
of the Gothix film itself.
That is me.
Yep. We showed the trailer on the last time that you were here, right?
Was that during that episode that we showed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So that's
well, it's
it
out
doesn't
now.
feel like 7 months ago. It feels.
It doesn't.
I don't know what it feels like. It feels like longer,
2 years.
But also a lot has changed in that time period. So a lot of things have come to pass then. So we got a lot of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we get started, would you please hit the like button on this video? Please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Let me check here. 68 likes. I'm gonna need you guys. Those are rookie numbers. You got to bump those numbers up.
Do you think the power is going to go out again?
Oh yeah. So we had like 2 power surges in the last, like at least one when I got back.
It's just been a weird day.
Yeah, it's one of those days. So sometimes before we get this show started, I'll say to Mary, I'll be like, I have a bad feeling about this one. I didn't have that feeling today, but now that you mention it, maybe my sense of self is off, and there
maybe
actually
I spoke
should be.
it into existence.
That's very, very plausible here. So, guys, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We have passed 95,000 subscribers. We are on our way to 100,000. So please go ahead and do that and share the video with your friends. It's like a multi-level marketing scheme. You get more people to come in, more people join, and then more people share it with their friends, and then suddenly it's even bigger. Also, remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there, and then we will do our very best to get back on topic. I know that I am very scattershot, and my brain barely works sometimes, but I do my best. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about a massive set of layoffs going on over at Twitch, and I imagine that you have a lot of things to say. Just a few?
Oh, yeah. Just a few.
Yeah. So,
Does it feel good to see it?
You know what?
Would you love to see
I have mixed emotions about it. You know, I feel bad on the one hand, because people are losing their job, but then I'm like, well, that's what you get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we think that a lot. Like, anytime these movie studios, make a movie that bombs, and then people are like, well, they worked really hard on it. I get that argument, and certainly not everybody is responsible for the stupid decisions that the studios make, but what's that saying? You reap what you sow. You get what you have coming to you. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about this Twitter thread from Clifton Duncan talking about affirmative action, essentially, in movies and television hiring. And also this article that's going out talking about a whole bunch of woke television shows that have been canceled in the last couple of years, all related to that USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, which, as you know, is the most depressing and dystopian thing you've ever seen. They basically go through all of movies and television and break it down by race, gender, and sexuality, which is super depressing more than anything else. We're going to talk about that, and also an actor named Vincent Gallo, who is being investigated for some really, really creepy claims for stuff that went on during some auditions that he was holding. It kind of falls right in line with these topics we've been talking about with Arden Young and about how you have to feel free to be an actor, doesn't it?
Is anyone surprised?
No.
You have to be sexually liberated to be a good actor.
Yes. So
apparently.
we're going to talk about that, and then we are going to we're going to talk about your documentary. I want to talk to you about the filmmaking process, and I want to talk to you about how it felt to get all of this made, because it's been a 2-year process now.
Yeah.
Nearly 3.
It was 2 years ago that you were here the first time, right? About that time?
I think so.
Right,
Yeah.
there have been 2 wars since then.
Wow, when you put it that way.
Yeah, that was 2 wars ago, guys.
So
That was
you happened to show up the day that one of them started.
Fun, yes.
Yeah. Good
Isn't that
day.
depressing?
It's very depressing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a good day to show up at Tomcast.
No.
So, I mean, it was the same thing was going on when all of the stuff that happened with Israel and Palestine. It's just like, oh, it's the show starting. I'm like, I wonder what they're going to be talking about. So
We could just do a massive troll today where both of us talk about Israel and Palestine the whole time.
That'd be great. I'm sure the views would be fantastic.
But it's the kind of the movies that they're putting out, that Palestine's putting out during this time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not about the war.
So we got that. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. So if everybody is ready, we can just go ahead and get started. Graeme, are you ready?
Yeah.
Mary.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and get started then. First, ladies and gentlemen, I have some good news to start off the show. I know good news doesn't sell well in the marketplace. Nobody likes good news these days.
This actually isn't good news. You don't know if it's good news
that's
yet.
That's actually a fair point. So I should say good news if you actually believe that the sequel will be good. I actually don't think that this needs to get
Believing a sequel will be good in the year 2024.
Technically, the sequel it's based on was good. So yes, this is the rare example. News that Tom Cruise signed a non-exclusive mega deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount was quick to get the word out that Top Gun 3 is in development. Yeah, I don't think they need to make it because making the sequel was like a once in a million chance. Right?
Proven white pill is not a white pill.
Not always. Yes. Thank you, Mary.
This isn't good news.
Thank you for the dark cloud on this beautiful day.
It was a miracle that Top Gun 2 was as good as it was.
Yes.
Like I would argue that Top Gun Maverick is better than Top Gun 1.
Oh yeah, it certainly has a whole lot more emotional
I would need to rewatch the first one again, but I think that Top Gun Maverick was very emotional, very syrupy, and very, like a little bit over the top sweet, but it was okay.
Yeah, I had the privilege of watching them like back to back.
Yeah.
And Top Gun Maverick is just, it realizes a lot of the themes just a little bit better than the first one. I don't remember if I cried.
I almost cried.
That's a yes.
By
the way, that's a yes. When a guy says, "Oh, I don't remember," that's a yes.
He cried. I'd never seen it actually, so
you should see it.
I'm out of the loop.
You would,
it's good.
You'd like it. I think you'd like it. I think in today's with all the movies that suck these days, the idea that you could get one that's actually really, really good is pretty rare. Mm-hmm. So maybe what you should do is you should watch it and then let us know what you think about it. Because now one of my favorite things to do is when I give people movie recommendations and then I get back whether they liked it or not. When I was talking to Camelot, I was like, you should watch The Creator. But then he's like, I'm going to watch it. It better be good. And I'm like, that's aggressive, right? Like, what if he doesn't like it? Because, takes time.
Yeah.
A movie the reason why I talk about the number one reason, the number one way to know whether a movie is good or not is whether you'll actually watch it more than once, because the most valuable thing you have is your time, right? Mm-hmm. So if you suggest to someone, imagine suggesting to someone a 3-hour movie like Oppenheimer and they don't like it and you're like, bro, you just took up a fourth of my day, right?
Well, you'll talk highly of a movie and then 5 minutes will pass and you're like, yeah, Mary, you wouldn't like that movie.
I do that all the time. Well, but to be fair, you don't like most of the movies we go see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who could blame me?
Look,
bad.
I have a rosier,
Brett could.
A rosier perspective on a lot of these things.
We just saw the Mean Girls reboot. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what's going on.
So sorry.
It was awful, right? Did you say that somebody was they were fighting about it on Twitter today? You said you were somebody was arguing with you about it?
I said that Renee Rapp is an inferior Regina George to Rachel McAdams, which is just obviously true. And then someone claimed that she actually blew it out of the water and she was actually superior to Rachel McAdams. And I was like, no uterus, no opinion. Yeah.
Good response.
Got him.
That's what you
the only time when you can use that phrase and it works.
That's an Uno reverse right there.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys are there any animated movie fans here? Pixar? Does anybody like Pixar?
They're all
movies?
bad.
They're all.
I like animated
You
movies.
like animated movies? Okay, so right now Pixar is going through their own wave of layoffs right now because all of their movies the last year have all been released on Disney Plus, and none of them have done well. They're actually just going to be re-releasing 3 of those movies in theaters over the winter, was it starting in the new year, right?
Yeah.
In the next month or so, because none of them got theater releases, and because of the strike, nobody was working for a period of time, so they got these slots that they needed to fill. So it says, according to TechCrunch, staff numbers could drop from 1,300 to 1,000 in the next few months, up to 20% of the workforce, with further job losses as a possibility down the line. Well, one of the things that I find difficult about this job is whenever we talk about Disney, and Disney's a big topic of discussion for people in the culture war because of the messaging in the movies, because of the way that they've treated their previous properties and they've made the changes. Certainly, a whole big part of your documentary has to do with the changes made to the Barbie.
Part of your villain origin story.
The Little Mermaid is about the Little Mermaid, right? But the problem is when you cover this stuff every day, one of the hardest metrics is it doesn't feel like anything changes. It's like no matter how many flops there are, no matter how much money they lose, it doesn't really feel like they ever get the message. It doesn't feel like anything changes. You have to look to stories like this to see the incremental changes that come for these industries, because otherwise you're just like, look, it's the same CEO. They're making the same bad movies. Nothing's any different. What are we supposed to do? So I guess depending on how ghoulish you are, this could be a white pill, because that means that they're hopefully
It's absolutely a white pill.
Hopefully that means that they're going to learn their lesson, though most of us know that they don't seem to ever learn their lesson, right? I don't think it's something that, like, if you're a small time creator, if you're somebody who's got like a YouTube channel or somebody who streams and something like that, you don't really get that luxury, right? Like you're flying by the seat of your pants. You have to live and die by your creation, and it kind of sucks to see these companies that are insulated from it because of investors and all these things, and it kind of turns people against them, or at least I feel like it does, especially people who have to go out and make it on their own.
Yeah. Well, I think I think you guys give these people a little bit too much credit. Like, I think they know that they are making intentionally bad stuff and they don't care because they have investors. And I think from the people, like from the perspective of someone sitting up at the top, I think that's what they want. Like, I think on like a production level, directors, writers, I don't necessarily think that what they're doing, they believe it's actually bad. They're like, oh, I'm injecting wokeness and activism into these movies. I'm doing a good thing. But I think the ones sitting up at the top, they're like, yeah, let's destroy this franchise for some ulterior motive. Like, I look at it through that lens of like, what would a communist do to destroy an industry? And it would probably be something like this.
Yeah, they are insulated in big reason to ESG money.
Yeah.
That they are getting that money in front of whatever the film does after the fact.
Well,
so that is a little bit of that insulation, but it doesn't last forever. It will run out, and there is that question of, did they receive enough of that money in order to make up for the loss that they took at the box office? And I'm pretty positive the answer is no.
Yeah.
And so when it comes down to it, companies still do serve the almighty dollar. And if the films aren't making the money, then they're going to probably try and ride this road as long as they can. But the only thing that's going to keep them on that road till bankruptcy is going to be pride. It's just the pride of, this is the path that we took, and we want this path to work out. We want this path to be the successful one. We want this ideology to be the thing that is believed across the nation. But the only thing that's going to stop that from happening is them not making enough money from doing it. But they could also just completely ignore the signs, the blood in the water, and say, well, we don't care about money. We're going to go down with the ship for the sake of this ideology.
You think a company like Disney ends up getting sold? A lot of people think that a company like Disney will end up getting sold to Apple.
It's so disturbing.
I really do believe that eventually we'll be living in a duopoly of Apple and Amazon, for the most part.
That would be
who are
nuts.
insulated by their outside products. As long as you still have an iPhone, they're still going to be making a whole crap ton of money, and Apple is super liquid. And Amazon right now just went through a round of layoffs, but for the most part, Amazon is pretty liquid because of the amount of money that they make through their shipping business, through their, through the marketplace. And we'll end up never seeing these companies be individually owned again. Everything will just be under those two brands.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah.
I literally told you I had that like intricate, convoluted nightmare about Apple buying Disney.
Yes.
And like they made a documentary about making the next Star Wars movie, and that it never happened, it never panned out.
Yeah.
Was Steve Jobs there?
Yeah, it ended like Enron or something.
That's and then somebody will end up making a documentary about that down the line. That's the real money to be made is in like somebody needs to make a Batgirl documentary about the movie that never got made.
I would love to
That would
see
be
it.
great.
That's more interesting to
That'd
me.
be great.
Yeah,
than the
I would love to see
actual,
that.
Like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, have you ever noticed so whenever there's like a tragedy, Hulu has a documentary out like 2 days later. Like after Astroworld,
Yeah.
I turn the TV on 2 days later and there's like an Astroworld documentary. I'm like,
Or TMZ.
Coincidence.
like, when did they make this? like, did they just hire 50,000 people to get this done in 2 days? That's insane, right? And that's super, like, it's kind of depressing, right? Because you're capitalizing on a tragedy and all of that stuff. But I do believe that eventually down the line, we'll see all of these companies owned by one or two conglomerates. Because if you've noticed, over the last 20 years, you see constant consolidation downwards as Disney buys up all of the properties, as Warner Brothers buys things up and then gets sold from AT&T to Discovery. Now they're looking that now Warner Brothers might be buying Paramount, which will then further consolidate more. Your choices will be less and less. What was the George Carlin bit where he talks about how He's like, you have 37 different types of bagels you can buy, but you only have 2 political parties and only a handful of phone companies, right? Like, it's the illusion of choice. And that's what you're going to get with most entertainment, which is depressing because the movies that were the most successful last year, outside of your Barbie, think of Sound of Freedom, which was made by a small independent studio. And you need those studios out there to be able to make these movies that actually speak to people that aren't like me, who just want to go watch stuff blow up for 2 hours. Look, there are actual smart people out there that want to watch smart cinema. It's not me, but I understand that there's a marketplace for that. And you don't want to see it shrunk out just because, corporations want to buy up everything that's out there.
Right. We got a $20 super chat real quick from High Voltage 75. Are people decorating their houses for Valentine's Day now?
What?
I've seen 2 houses in my area that have pink and red lights and decorations in the front of their houses. Have you ever heard of or seen this yourself?
Where the hell do you live?
That's the red light district.
I've seen,
Is it a whorehouse? That's the real question.
It's kind of bizarre. Yeah, never seen that before.
That's just weird. Do you know anybody that like gets really into Valentine's Day?
No.
No.
What?
So who the hell would decorate their house to do that? No, maybe a newlywed couple or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's just weird. Or maybe it's just a coincidence and they just really like those colors and it's not even February yet.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. And then one here from James Brighter says, my leadership failed and I have to write a code of conduct for my organization and line out our ethics. What do y'all think are important for an arts and entertainment company to outline for members? First donation. Let's go! That's a hard one because to me, I always laugh when people talk about the ideas of companies having ethics because corporations just want to have, they want to make, or at least theoretically they just want to make money, and I actually have no problem with that. Like I don't like it when companies pretend like they have these value, like when they have shared values. I'm like, not really.
Well, owners have to have the ethics and managers have to have the ethics. It's the people that have to have the ethics. You can't have like a standard by which if you don't follow this standard then you're out, sort of thing. But yeah, it's not the company that's ethical or not, it's the people that are running it are either ethical or not.
Most of these companies have ethics based on what laws they can get away with. You know, OSHA enforces a lot of those laws, and you know the
morality
government.
of OSHA.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. You'd have to okay. So he says an organization to line out our
just
ethics.
let ChatGPT do it. Like
that's a good idea. Just
it'll figure it out.
Just ask Grok.
No one would find out.
All right, let us move on. So speaking of which, Netflix is probably the only one of these streaming services that's actually making any money. I think they're the only one that's profitable at all. I think we talked about that earlier this year. So the only one that's actually making money is Netflix on top of all of them. And it says that their ad tier has surged to 23 million active users. It's disgusting. I will never watch ads.
People don't mind ads as much as you do.
I do. I don't want to pay for them.
No, it's not $6.99.
I'll just watch
regular
Tubi or
TV.
something for free.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm more willing to run into an ad like during a TV show. Maybe it's just like my millennial, used to the old TV programming sort of brain. But if an ad shows up in the middle of a movie, that's just
wrong.
It's wrong. I can't take that. I will pay for the ads not to be there. I can't take it.
Somebody and the worst argument they make is like, oh, don't you remember the feeling where like you have to like run to get something to eat or to the bathroom when the commercial break is on? Like, bro, you have a remote. Hit pause. Like you don't have to do that now. Like now you can do that anytime you want, and you don't even have to run. You can walk.
Right, but the TV programming didn't tell me when I was allowed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
That is crazy. It's not happening. It says the ad tier subscriptions, which cost $6.99 a month, account for approximately 30% of all new signups in the 12 countries where it was launched. I also laugh because they always launch in like these really small countries. It's never in the West. It's always like really far away. It says the ad tier growth spurt follows reports that Netflix rolled out was a rocky start, with the streamer allowing advertisers to take back money from ads that had not yet run because it missed viewership targets. Do you guys watch a lot of stuff on streaming, or are you guys more like?
I do. I don't really subscribe to them. You know what I mean? But yeah,
We've been talking about that recently. Yeah.
if it's offered, you know.
Yeah. Like for me, okay. So I watch a lot of streaming stuff, but a lot of people, what I've noticed is that people break it down now into two categories. Like I'm an internet person or I'm a streaming person. So a lot of people, they've kind of moved away from it altogether and they're just watching stuff on YouTube or Rumble, places like that. A lot of people aren't even really subscribing to these services anymore. But like, no, I'm not paying money for ads.
I'm definitely not going to pay to get advertised to.
No.
I'm literally going to pay to be the product.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Tubi.
But
Just get Tubi.
we have talked about the rise of piracy recently on the show, and there are even some movie directors that are endorsing it or quietly giving their
own
blessing.
films?
Of their own films. They're
I
like,
remember when like Foo Fighters was doing that when they were totally fine with people pirating their music because it just meant it was getting in more people's hands.
Were they just
Yeah.
pushing back on like Metallica then at the time?
Yeah, Metallica. Yeah, Lars was
Okay.
causing problems.
Yeah. All right. So yesterday, if you remember, guys, we talked about. Did you guys see the story about Lil Nas X and his new? Yes, thoughts?
We were talking about it before this.
What are your thoughts?
That's a yes.
I saw the music video this morning. I'm like, what is going on?
So he has a new song, right?
Yes. He's getting accused of copying Kendrick Lamar using a sample from Humble. But mainly the backlash is that he's mocking Christianity and also pretending that he's going through this genuine conversion. Like he says he's going to Liberty University to go into biblical studies.
By the way, you were like you were one of the first people to point out that it was clearly BS. That
oh no,
letter
the
was
community notes called him out because he showed this fake letter from the president of Liberty University that died in 2007.
Wow.
So he was definitely trolling, and he's mad at everyone for calling him out for trolling.
Well, this is a pretty religious panel. I mean, other than me,
We
this
outnumber
is a pretty
you.
religious panel today. So
suppose.
I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on this. On his take, because he's been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Did you think it was a good song? Like,
No,
was it catchy?
it wasn't. It's crazy because cinematically, he clearly has a really talented team that could really put together a nice music video for something that is good.
Yeah.
But I think he just figured out, okay, I got this type of publicity when I came out with the satanic shoes. So now let me see what kind of publicity I can get if I just antagonize the Christian community even more.
Right. Well, yeah. The thing about going the satanic direction that he did when he first started was that these people don't actually believe in any of this. They don't believe in the devil. I mean, some probably do, but my assumption would be that Lil Nas X does not believe in the devil, and it's easier to go that direction because most people who claim to be Satanists actually don't believe in a literal Satan. They don't believe that Satan exists, and so going the Christian direction, you've already sort of established yourself as largely a disingenuous Satanist, that you don't actually believe in this. This is just for PR. This is just for marketing. So when you go the Christian direction and you're doing it just as flamboyantly and loud and that it's going to come across just as disingenuous. This is not about a pursuit of Jesus Christ. This is not about a pursuit of God. This is just an opportunity to see if you can grab another part of the market.
Well, it's interesting because if someone in Hollywood specifically were a theistic Satanist who does believe that Satan exists, then they would decide it's beneficial for them to lie about that and just say, oh no, I'm just like using edgy aesthetics and you're getting triggered, Christians.
Right. Yeah.
So you really can't tell.
Yeah, it's
based on anything he says.
Right.
But
you
it
can
was
tell he doesn't
interesting
mean
that Kai Cenat called out Lil Nas X for disrespecting God, bro. Let's play that clip from his stream.
You can do that.
He got very angry.
Oh, please.
Yo, Lil Nas X, you could eat my whole. Eat that nigga, bro. Nah, that shit just popped up in my head, bro. That
What he
nigga,
did?
bro. Nah,
What he
word
did?
of my mother, bro. God gonna handle you in the right way. I didn't even talk about that yet, bro. But look, God gonna handle you, bro. And you're, bro.
What he did?
No, bro.
What he did?
No, bro. God gonna handle that nigga. Real shit.
What did he do?
Nah, bro. I'm not even gonna explain it, bro.
But, bro, no.
He's extremely
you gotta-
disrespectful, bro. He disrespectful.
Okay,
religions,
tell
bro.
me how he disrespected, because, bro, you can't be on that bad timing. I'm just sitting in the corner on bad timing.
Go on his page, bro.
Hey, yo.
He disrespect God himself. That's
Christianity, like Christianity.
Yes, he disrespect the whole culture.
He was
bro.
mocking. He was mocking it.
Yes, mocking, making
Nigga,
fun
Lil
of.
Nas X, eat my.
It's my favorite verse in the Bible.
Yes. Yes.
Eat my whole.
Yeah. So Lil Nas X, in response to the naysayers, said, "Whether I'm a cowboy, gay, satanic, or now Christian, y'all find a problem. Y'all don't police anybody else's art like mine.
Oh, that's not
Like,
true.
you're
That's not true.
policing me."
I don't know.
So now he's being a victim about it.
He's getting what he wants, which he wanted attention. And my perspective is like, this isn't new. Like, people blaspheming the Lord, this isn't new. They don't believe. They don't actually believe. Like, back when I wasn't a believer, I used to think demonic stuff was an aesthetic. I thought it was cool because there's a sense of like, ooh, I'm rebelling against what society thinks is normal or whatever. So like, he's getting what he wants, and I can understand the outrage, and I think it is justified to an extent, but like, I don't know why people are surprised, is I think where my head is. Like, why are you surprised?
There's just as much of a problem as someone who's using satanic culture as a means to be a part of a trend, to be a part of a fad, as it is that someone would wear a cross as a part of a trend or a part of a fad. That it's just, you don't mean that. You're just wearing that because you want to be included into a part of a group. And he's shown himself, again, on both sides of this fence, that this is what he's doing it for. He's doing it for an aesthetic, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and outrage has served him well in the past. I do always laugh at the idea of making like the demonic music video, because if you've ever seen the product of the process of actually making a music video, like there's such structure to it and such work that goes into the actual production behind it, that the idea that you're creating this like demonic thing, but then somebody's like, lights, can you bring the camera back around, swing, we
Gotta catch this seance from the right angle.
It's like he has to finish his line right here just as the camera swoops this way, otherwise it's not gonna look demonic enough. It's gotta go right that way. And it kind of like, when you see stuff like that, it's like when you watch a horror movie being made. Like, have you ever seen like behind the scenes of a horror movie without the sound effects and without all of the things that actually make it scary? It demystifies it in a lot of ways, and it shows you the corporate nature of somebody trying to push back on something like this. I think so. I laugh at it.
Evil people are often not deserved to be called demonic.
Yeah.
They're just evil. It's just people being bad. Bad people being bad. That's what it is. And you know, there's demons about. They exist.
Well, he is a dorky demon. If he's a demon, he's a dork. So.
Well, yesterday, when we were talking about this, I said, he's talented. People like him, Doja Cat, they're talented. So why do they need to rely on this to get success and attention when they could get success on their own merits? But I actually take that back, because not that he's not talented, but talent isn't enough to get attention these days. It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
You have to have a gimmick.
Yeah,
And that's what he's decided his gimmick
We've
is.
had that conversation a couple of times. I don't remember who the other person we were talking about this recently was, but we had this conversation where it's like, oh, they could have just survived on the talent alone. Like, not really.
No.
Like, you're like the most successful people, it's really more who you know than anything within the Hollywood apparatus, right? Like, you have to have like most of those pop singers, like as talented as you want to say somebody was, if they had a dad or a mom in the industry, there's 1,000 people that could have been them. It's just that they had the right connections, and that's not inherently bad. It might have been during one of the Nepo discussions that we were having at some point. Like, I don't begrudge that to them. Like, I'm loving watching John David Washington as an actor, even though he's never going to be Denzel. He will never be Denzel Washington. But if I was him, I also probably wouldn't want to go into the same field of study, right? I wouldn't have wanted to become an actor if I had a dad who was one of the greatest to ever do it, right? So I actually, when I look at that, I appreciate somebody who takes up the challenge, knowing that it's 1,000,000 to 1 that he's actually going to rise to that level of talent. But I don't think that necessarily makes him bad. It's just, within music, it's a lot more about gimmick and who you know.
Do you think the original Nas would approve of this?
No. Actually, I would love to watch that debate. Let's get Nas. I want to talk him. I want them to debate Illmatic versus versus.
Does Nas have an opinion about Lil Nas X?
I have
Has
no
he
idea.
addressed him in any way?
Illmatic versus Industry Baby. I would love to watch that back and forth. It's gonna fail. All right, guys. Okay, so. This headline is as ridiculous as it sounds. Twitch streamer accused of making crack while cooking steak in a parking lot. Yes, this is a real thing. Let's watch this video. I sent this to. See, I was more upset because this is the headline that I read. It said streamer gets called out by strangers for cooking crack in public, and I was like,
The video is so funny.
I was like, let's freaking go. This is awesome. But here, let's go ahead and watch this.
Yes? This is a family establishment. You're not allowed to cook crack in the parking lot.
Oh, I'm cooking steak.
What?
I'm cooking steak.
What kind of steak?
So I made some ribeye, and then I'm doing like a YouTube challenge where it's like my steak versus the Outback steak.
What?
Yeah. So it's not crack. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Are you sure it's not crack?
This is the steak, so don't worry. Yeah. It's just for a YouTube like Twitch thing. So sorry for making you uncomfortable. But don't worry. It's steak. Thank you.
You know what we
Have a
need?
good night.
Now what actual crack dealers need to do is to just cook it and be like, no, it's fake crack for a Twitch stream. Like, it's not real crack.
But why is she doing this in an Outback Steakhouse
Because
parking
she was
lot?
trying to get them to like taste test like what's better.
Yeah.
I
the
would
steak
not
or-
ever taste test parking lot steak.
This-
You don't know what's in it.
This is also like
there could be crack in it.
This is in the same vein as this weird new trend where people go to bathrooms at public restaurants and like make them nice. Have you seen this?
They start cleaning.
No.
They like clean
They
them
start
up and
cleaning the
decorate
Walmart
them.
restroom and they get in trouble.
It's just it's a
dare they?
societal menace. It really is. And like I have no problem with it because I think this would have been funny. But you're right. I'm not taking the parking lot steak. I'm not.
Also, someone
Well-
said, I like the implication that if it weren't a family establishment, it would be okay to cook crack in the parking
If it
lot.
was a strip club, it would be fine.
I think I'm more curious of like what did that woman see that led her to believe that crack was being cooked? Like obviously
Yeah.
you saw some type of equipment
Bunsen
and
burner. It must
ingredients,
be
like
This
crack.
lady doesn't look like what I imagine a crack.
No.
Look, I've
That's
got
how
How
they
many
fool you.
crackheads have you seen?
I have seen some people in my day, and that's not what any drug dealer that I knew looked like. But maybe I was just uncultured. What do I know?
Now we might need to go
breaking
searching.
the glass ceiling. She's breaking the she's cracking the glass ceiling.
Yes.
On crack dealers.
She's breaking the crack ceiling.
She is. So, yeah, and then the lady says, you go, girl. So even then, it's like a feminist thing.
Wow. Girl bossing.
Girl bossing. She's like, oh, cooking steak in public. But yeah, I don't think I would eat the parking lot steak.
No.
You don't know what's in there. Now, it could have been worse because there's actually a way this could have been worse. She could have been doing the thing where she goes to feed homeless people, but then puts the camera in their face and makes it really, really creepy and rude.
I cooked steak for you.
Eat this.
Have you ever seen the ones where the lady, like, it's like she sets up the people where she's like, oh, can you help me? I dropped my wallet in this garbage can. And then she runs out of frame and then pretends to bring him food because the guy's just digging through the garbage. it's just effing. It's called effing influencers.
People are weird.
Yeah, people are weird. All right, guys. We got $20 super chat here from Dubby Nanners. It says, parking lot steak is way better for society than YouTube families. That is true. That is actually true.
You saying that because of
family
the
vloggers.
Austin McBroom divorce?
That or Ruby Frank. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, I'm uncultured.
Family. Do you know? Like, do you ever seen family vloggers on YouTube? People who just have channels based around their family.
No.
I remember the OG one. It was the Shaytards.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
they tend to
yeah.
not be the
Yeah.
best people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard this.
You don't want to, like, if you start documenting everything with your family and then, you basically dance, monkey,
That's
to your
just
own
weird.
child.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, it's not good.
It's like your family is your content.
Yeah. It's, a lot of them, they end up showing, like, a lot of abuse happens in these
Yeah.
families. The Ruby Frank one was particularly bad, where, like, her kids were getting abused and withheld food and stuff like that. So, not good. All right, guys. Let's, what would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
I want to see cringe.
Cringe first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do we got here, Mary? What did we do for cringe today?
We did miss a $20 super chat from Incompetent Hands 30. He said, Mary, did you see Allie Beth Stuckey interviewed Arden Young? I didn't realize she was the same girl exposing Pornhub. Young and Morgan should be on Culture War. Also, how many parties for Mary to watch Buffy? Help me out, Brett.
You should watch. I mean, you shouldn't need any amount of parties
Buffy's
to watch
good.
Buffy. Buffy's fantastic. What do you? I mean, are we talking? Wait, there's a clarification there. The movie or the TV show?
He probably means the TV show.
Okay,
right?
because like that would be a large request to ask her to watch 7 seasons of something.
Just watch one season.
How many parties, Mary, to have you watch 1 season of Buffy the Vampire
How
Slayer?
long is the season, though?
22 episodes.
That's a lot. Thank you, guys.
10 crisis parties to get me to watch season 1 of Buffy again.
We would watch it together.
No, I'm just saying, like, we could do it for 10 for me because I'll just watch it anyways because I just like it. But how many, Mary?
10. 10
There
is
you go.
fine.
All right.
I guess that's not.
All right.
This is a good goal.
Yep. Okay. So there you go, guys. You're gonna have to get to 10. We just got the first one. So if you want to make that happen, you're gonna have to go ahead and get going because it'll take her a while
Get
to watch
given.
that.
Chop.
22 episodes or 23 episodes is a lot to get through.
Yeah, seasons of TV shows used to be much longer.
Yes. Well, I mean, they still are on network television. They still run that amount. So,
Right.
all right. So Mary found this one, and this is interesting because we were just ragging on the movie, on the Mean Girls movie.
Yes,
So-
this is an interview of Renee Rapp from Mean Girls, where she's supposed to be promoting the movie, but then she just starts ranting about this guy that I don't know what he did, but I support him. His name is Buddy. I don't know. Let's watch.
Here we go.
There is this man who owns a bus touring company. His name is Buddy, and he is such an asshole, and he was so disrespectful to my friends Priscilla and Bella, who I work with, and to my mother. If you're watching this, I can't stand you, and I hope your business burns. You are so disrespectful and so misogynistic. I hate you. Come on, Priscilla. I hear Priscilla in the other room. Yeah, fuck you, Buddy. There is this man.
Yeah, so I don't know what Buddy did or didn't do, but I'm on his side.
But also, like, if she could have brought this energy to the movie, it would have
Yeah.
actually been kind of good.
Yeah,
Right.
this is method acting.
She could have channeled this energy,
when
but
she's talking to Katie, then he's like, and just imagine she's Buddy.
yes.
And Buddy pissed off your friend Priscilla right now.
I do like that.
Channel Buddy.
I do like that the title "Mean Girls" is like right behind her
Yes.
when she's doing this.
Like, aren't you supposed to be promoting the movie right now?
I've also got one more to share with you guys, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to love this one. I saw this from Bleeding Fool. Conan the Barbarian reimagined as a queer woman in upcoming film.
Oh my word!
She is Conan. That's the name. It's like She-Hulk, but she is Conan.
Do we have any more info?
So there is a U.S. trailer, but I don't know if we'll get copyrighted for it. But it says, in the new teaser for She is Conan, avant-garde
She is Conan?
auteur Bertrand Mandico reimagines fiction's most famous barbarian. The mind-bending, century-spanning queer fantasy epic will be released in theaters in the United States on February 2nd. I can't wait!
Mind bending is right.
We got
bending.
a $100 one here from That's Danzatastic. Says this is going towards the Buffy thing as well as Freddy Got Fingered bet. What was that? How many was it for Freddy Got Fingered?
We never did a wager for that one.
Let's go, chat. We can do it. Yay! I have so much space to type things. He says I have so much space to type things. I don't even know what to say as something. Borax so good. Also, thanks Gothix for your work.
Well, you're welcome.
What is SNTR? Your work with
SNTR.
SNTR?
Oh, say no to rage. I think.
Oh, okay.
As I'm
Yeah.
about to rage about the queer Conan.
It was a
movie.
canceled Twitch streamer.
Well, this is just for Buffy, just so everyone is on the same page. That is just about Buffy. We've got another $50 super chat from Disco Jensen for Mary to get cultured.
I think, look, it's got some very good early 2000s actual feminism in Buffy. Like, Buffy's good.
Yeah, I
Right?
like Buffy.
Yeah. So it says, however, the trailer quickly departs from the story familiar to pulp magazine and comic book fans. We are soon introduced to multiple Conans. Oh, God. Sorry. Apologize.
It's the Conan multiverse?
Yes, the
Holy
Conanverse.
cow.
From various points in her life and across time, all played by different actors, including, I can't pronounce any of these names, but they're all women.
Right.
So who wants to go see queer Buffy or a queer
And not
queer
queer
Conan
Buffy.
movie? Well, there is queer characters in Buffy, but
The
in later
writers
seasons.
they're running out of
So
they're
this is
running out of
a-
ideas.
So
Is this a movie or a show?
It's a movie. So this is really funny. It says in an interview with Bash Ortega of Horror Press, the French director discussed his influence for the film. Isn't it wrong for a guy to be making this nowadays? Shouldn't a woman be making this? Why is this important to you? Is it hard to make these films in the present times of bigotry?
Imagine
LGBT.
using the tagline "incredibly queer"
Yeah.
in the '90s, advertising a film like your own film.
Yeah.
It's incredibly queer.
That would not fly. We got 100 from Trudy Jones, just looking to donate to
I didn't know
Mary's-
people cared this much
love
about me
Buffy,
watching
yeah.
Buffy,
People love
but
Buffy.
okay.
Why wouldn't they?
Pat the Plumber says, say no to Rage Against the Machine. Well, yeah, they just broke up for the third time.
There's another $20 from the ninja from Pop Culture Planet saying, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. I'm a distraction, Baba Booey.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See, I love one of the reasons I love the early seasons of Buffy is because Spike is so good, but also all the characters are really treated with respect. You don't see like for the most part, Buffy is the main character, but everyone that she's surrounded by has a unique personality all their own, and it doesn't feel like they all bleed into each other, which I feel like is what most television is today, because the internet has homogenized everything so much that everybody's kind of the same, whereas all of those characters felt very, very unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a great deal of work to be able to write that many characters that feel unique.
Yep.
And that's just the thing that it seems that either writers in the majority of Hollywood either don't understand or don't care about. I don't know which one it is. I genuinely don't.
And what
But
you'll realize is
great
that
effort.
the work that Joss Whedon did on that show ruined most of cinema 20 years later, because now everybody writes their characters with the same type of LOL so random humor that was unique to his writing style, but then a bunch of people just tried to copy down the line.
Everyone's witty.
Yep.
Yeah.
I make this point all the time. Very few people in your life are actually really funny. Like, people can be amusing, right? You have a friend who can make jokes, but think about when you were in school, right? How many people per class were actually like laugh out loud funny? Maybe one in 30,
Yeah.
right? It's just not that common. Everyone on the internet thinks they're funny. I'm not, and most likely you're not.
You're pointing at me.
No, I'm pointing at the camera, not at Mary. Look, if you're looking on the screen.
Women can't be funny.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Brett
like,
Dosovic,
I wasn't going to
2024.
say that, but I think that's Tim's hill to die on. I don't say that. Tim says that. But you get what I'm saying, right? Is very few people are actually, like, most of us shoot for amusing and hope for funny once in a while. That's my advice to you for the rest of the day, world.
Have you seen that clip of Sneeko reacting to Shoe on Head?
No.
All right,
Is that recent?
No, it's a little bit ago, but he's of the opinion that women cannot be funny, and while they might be less likely to be funny, Shoe is very funny.
Yes.
And Sneeko's
He's like watching the video and he's like,
yeah, exactly. He actually has moments where a laugh escapes him, and he's just like, damn it.
well, at least he can admit defeat.
Yeah.
Shoe's funny. But
She's
Shoe's also very
great.
witty.
She's also
Yeah.
good at
Yeah.
editing her videos really well.
Yeah. Shoe
All right.
should be on the show.
We do have.
True.
Oh no, I would love to have. Like,
I've already asked.
Have you?
You have?
Yeah.
I live by her phrase is the one that I live by. It's like, everything I say is a joke unless you agree with me. In that case, otherwise I was kidding. $20 one here from Left-Handed Link says, funny story. I watched PCC one time with my mom, and when I said I thought Mary was pretty, she replied, "She's got bug eyes." Nothing personal. That's just how she is. I would totally buy #Justice for Bug Eyes merch.
Okay, I have beef with your mom now.
Yes.
Do you get that a lot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You should
Which
make,
I do.
You should make a diss video on his mom. You should find out who his mom is and just make a response video.
This is my arch nemesis now.
And we got a big one here from Disco Jensen. Says, I'm already over budget for the month, but I'm rich and the cause is just. So they want you to...
They're going to be really pissed off if I don't like Buffy.
Yeah, they will.
I'm going to just fake it.
How many
loved
things
it.
have you watched because of the show?
We got her to watch the Star Wars holiday special.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that. I also had to watch all of the Harry Potter movies.
You had to watch
over
Die
a
Hard, right?
wager. Die Hard, was that a wager? I
thought
think
you
my
just
brother forced me to watch that one.
Okay.
Well, your brother was right.
And I think that the Star Wars marathon I did could have been a wager.
I don't
but
think
now
that was a wager. I think you just... Because when you said you were watching them, I was surprised. I was like, without it being assigned as homework? That's crazy.
Yeah, but there's definitely been other stuff. They're trying to culture me because I'm an uncultured Zoomer swine.
All right.
the-
Did you like any of them? Any
The
of the
Star
things?
Wars or...
Any of the things you were forced to watch?
I definitely didn't like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I wasn't raised with it. I wasn't
I think
allowed to
Gothix
watch
has
it.
got beef with you on that one.
Not really. I mean, I didn't watch all of them, but I liked them when they were coming out.
Also I was forced to watch Attack on Titan with a wager. Hated that. I don't think I've liked anything that they paid me to watch.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. already halfway there.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do cute of the day then, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
We got a couple here. This is some great photos. This one's from Malcolm. It says, "This is Ivy and Philip, our family cats that my sister now owns. They're spoiled rotten. They've killed one mouse between the two of them, and Phil sheds his body weight in hair during the summer. Not a fan of cats, but I can tolerate these goofballs."
Oh,
Looks like my cat.
It does, yeah.
I love that soy face.
What is that
Cute.
cat called, Gothix?
Maine Coon. Or a trash cat.
Or a trash
Yeah.
cat?
Oh,
Bonus pick of Phil's recent lion cut.
bald cat.
Phil.
It's good.
Bald.
All right, let's do one more here. This one here is from Alex Making Beds. I wonder if he's making novels on the side. Here's Samu making another appearance at PCC Pets. I've discovered he has a new superpower. He can create electricity and discharge it at will. It's either that or cold weather is making him static. One or the other.
I'll choose to believe it's his superpower.
He's got a little
He looks very sad.
bloodhound in him.
He does. He's got the droopy eyes there. All right. Let's go ahead and then get started then, shall we? So we have a bona fide Twitch streamer with us today, and we're going to talk about the fact that Twitch is going through major layoffs right now, which I think anyone could see coming with all of the problems they've had recently, constantly changing policy, implied nudity, and all of the various things they keep trying to put into effect, none of it seeming to work. How do you feel about this?
I just feel nothing. I am numb and dead
Numb and dead
inside.
Well, you're kind of directing more focus to your YouTube channel, it seems.
Yeah, I
rather than
mean,
your Twitch, even though you're still active on Twitch.
Yeah, but not to the extent that I was before. I honestly, if I were to say the best streaming platform out there, I would say Twitch, hands down. They have a good interface. It makes sense. It works. But their business practices are trash. Their community is trash. And like, I want to love Twitch. I just can't do it. So I'm not surprised by the fact that it's seeming to be sinking right now.
Says that they're cutting it by 35% of its workforce. That's extensive.
He said, unfortunately, I regret having to share that we are taking the painful step, we believe you,
I'm sure it
of
bothers
reducing
him.
our head count by over 500 people across Twitch. And he also, in the same stream, admitted that Twitch is not profitable and Amazon is supporting it. But that, like, why would the strategy be then to make it less habitable for advertisers by allowing basically porn to be on the homepage?
Yeah. Well, the
Like,
question is,
how is that the move?
The question is that actually less habitable for advertisers? I guess it depends on the advertisers.
Depends.
I mean, my theory with them introducing like this free for all and then reversing it only a day later was that they had their advertisers reach out and be like, hey, we're pulling out unless you change it back immediately. That was my theory about what happened. But then they banned implied nudity just a couple of weeks ago again because people started doing the censor bars trend.
Look, I always appreciate the ingenuity of these ladies to just find ways around the rules.
But they keep flip-flopping, and it is really confusing because then Dan Clancy just said they might change their artistic nudity policy again in the near future. He said, upon reflection, we've decided we went too far with this change. But then he said, it could be reconsidered once we have the ability to blur thumbnails and for viewers to say, I don't want to see sexually themed content. Those are two things we're working on. So I guess that he feels really strongly about artistic nudity.
It's his hill to die on.
Yeah, that's the hill you're dying on.
He's like, look.
Try dying on the hill of like making a profit, you know?
I just think it's weird. Like, most companies would be seen as unstable to see this many drastic policy changes this often. How common was that back when you were using the platform as regularly?
I think maybe it was common. I just didn't notice it until I got canceled because I sort of was just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And then it was only until I started butting heads with people on the platform that I'm like, oh, wow, this place is a dumpster fire. And then I started noticing, wow, a lot of the top creators are just girls in bikinis and jacuzzis sucking on microphones for content. And I'm like, how did this happen? I wasn't paying attention.
But when you say that the Twitch community is trash, I know we're going to get into this more later with the documentary, but can you like elaborate what that means? Because I'm not familiar with the Twitch community or
yeah.
the culture.
So it's funny because earlier we were talking about how companies, they'll try to say like these are our values. Like I think
There's
Twitch,
those words again.
I think Twitch is in particular a company that tries to impose values on the community, and this is why if you go to the homepage, you'll see drag queen stuff, you'll see like trans stuff, like Black Lives Matter stuff. So it's like they're trying to cultivate this sort of woke community, and then if you're not in lockstep with it, you're not with the in crowd anymore.
The fascinating thing is that like you can go on Twitch front page and see Hassan on there having a political stream talking about like outright political ideology, and you would never see someone on the other side of the political aisle being allowed to be on the front page of Twitch talking about outright political ideology.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Weird how it's kind of separated. Now it's like Rumble is like most people understand that if you're going to be successful on Rumble, it's the other side of the aisle, right? Like unless you have the built-in right-leaning audience, you're just not going to get the success on Rumble that you might be able to have on YouTube, and certainly not on Twitch, where you know someone like Hassan would make a whole ton of money by streaming all day talking about political discussions, and that sucks because it would be nice to be able to look at him right next to I don't know, like a Ben Shapiro's stream. That just seems weird.
I don't think so.
He doesn't stream on
That
Twitch.
would be
That would
hilarious.
be insane,
well, not. I'm
though.
saying does he like because his episodes are I guess are just broadcasted live, right, or like
I don't know.
premiered. But I would love to see him stream games. That would
We
be
got a
Play Minecraft.
$20 super chat from Disco Jensen saying, "You know we're serious about Buffy, right? No takesies backsies." Yes, I understand that you're serious. You've made that abundantly clear. However, you can't put a deadline on me because that's a long season to get through. So, but I promise that I will if we get to 10 today.
Yeah. I think you'll like it.
We'll see. I'm not going to make any commitments one way or the other. But it's funny how Eric July was just telling us that like Disney is the sugar daddy of Marvel, and like Warner Brothers is the sugar daddy of DC. And I guess Amazon is the sugar daddy of Twitch.
Yeah. Well, Google is the
at
sugar
this
daddy
point.
of YouTube.
Well, it's, I
And-
mean, like
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the DC and the Marvel ones aren't really like 100% one-to-one comparisons because they're owned by that company, but they're IP and not a platform, right? I guess you could say that like if Marvel had an app, then it would be the sugar baby of Disney. But really,
well, this whole thing of like Twitch not being profitable, like YouTube, I don't even know if YouTube is
not.
profitable.
It's
Yeah.
not.
I don't think
So
it is.
Google's been doing this forever
Yeah.
with YouTube, and yeah, I guess it's never been profitable for them, but they're still doing it for some reason. I don't.
It's not profitable to let people speak and express themselves.
Twisted Jack says Ben with black bars would have been fun.
Oh, no.
There's a $20 one here from Pat the Plumber says, "I must go, but let's not forget Buffy, fellow Crisis actors. You can do it." Yes, Ben with I don't think Hot Tub Ben Shapiro episodes would have the audience that they want, but that's just
I don't
me.
know.
I
Could be
could be
bigger.
completely wrong about that. What do I
Didn't
know?
you see all of those Ben Shapiro thirsty fan cams that he reacted to? Like there were actual Ben Shapiro thirst TikToks.
I guess a better example would have been like Hassan next to like a Brett Cooper. Like she would fit more with that style of streaming
Content.
and stuff right there. Yeah, but most of that stuff, I mean, even her
But she's
stuff
not really
is
like
also-
a political
they're-
pundit.
They're still pre-recorded, most of their stuff. I can't think
Yeah.
of. I guess Tim. What if Tim went to Twitch and started streaming
could
IRL
do it.
every night on Twitch?
Tim could do it. Why aren't we on Twitch right now?
No. No. We don't use Rumble. Like we should be using Rumble, but we don't. But yeah, like for all of this stuff, I see a lot of it is just these industries collapsing because it's always YouTube hasn't been profitable. And I always wonder for somebody like Twitch, like what do they get more revenue out of? Is it from the advertisers or is it from taking 35% now off the top of the creators?
I thought it was still 50%.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So is it higher than that?
It
now?
might be.
think
I
that
think
number's
it's a little
going
bit
up.
It's going up
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because of their interface and because of all the incentives to support a creator, they make a lot of money just by taking money from the creators themselves. And I don't think a lot of people, especially if their dream is to become a top Twitch streamer, they don't know that they can probably make more money on a different platform, just putting in a little bit more work. So they stick with Twitch.
Okay, so it said 50%, but so it says the 70-30 split was part of the new Partner Plus program, which will apply to streamers' net subscriptions revenue from recurring monthly subscriptions and gift subs. But once $100,000 is netted, the split reverts to 50-50. That's a lot.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Like YouTube
crazy.
takes 30% from, on top of everything that we do here. And that's a lot. Like, that adds up.
Another
Yeah, it's a lot.
$20 from DCNC. Buffy season 1 is only 12 episodes. I don't even really like Buffy. It's okay, I guess. But any chance to bully Mary, I'm here for that.
Well, that helps her. She's only going to have to watch 12 episodes.
That's a relief, actually. Yeah, and then another $20 from Incompetent Hands. I didn't mean to derail the show. What is this?
Giles.
Giles refers to himself as a patriarchal figure, and it's regarded as a good thing. It was a different time. If you think I'm annoying now, wait until I want you to watch Firefly.
Well, that's only 12 episodes, too. 12 or 13 episodes, too. But also, I still like to point out all the time, Giles, he's just an adult hanging out with kids all the time. Nobody questioned it back then.
Normal.
It's totally normal.
Why would we now?
Eritaz OO
What's happened recently?
sent another super chat. Buffy, what is this? FUBD? I don't know what that means.
See, the problem is when you ask
also-
those questions, I always think, I'm like, what am I the unhip one? I don't know.
I don't know.
Tim on Twitch with black bars instead of a beanie.
Do it!
Censoring
Do
the
it!
bald. And then another one from These Bitches Want Nike said for Buffy, also, have you guys talked about Green Day's recent onstage cringe? The past few years, I've been so ashamed that they were my first favorite band in like 2004. Anyway, word up.
How do you guys feel about that?
It's so stupid.
Yes.
It's so weird hearing all of these bands that I grew up with. It's like they would always sing about like being against the system, and they're literally helping the system.
Yeah.
It's so odd.
Well, but I actually don't think it's as surprising, because most of them back in the day, I always use Rage Against the Machine as the example, meaning that they were always leftists in a country that was, for the most part, still fairly neoconservative in its political leanings. So they actually were against the system back then. Now they're just embracing the fact that they've become exactly what they push back against now. But they haven't ideologically changed. They're the same people they were. It's just that the culture in the country has changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what machine are you raging against?
Yes.
'Cause
I think
raging
they
against
went
a
further
machine.
left over time
and
as it
a lot of
became
people
more
believe
socially
that,
acceptable.
the band members are true believers, but Tom is not, that he's more about the money and the recognition and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think he might be running for office.
Zach De La Roca has always been a hardcore communist.
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning, he has been about communism, and so none of this is surprising that as the country becomes more and more leaning towards communism, that they're actually raging for the machine as opposed to against it. But yeah, you're right. Their ideals haven't really actually changed. It's just the name doesn't fit anymore.
$20 one here from Disco Jensen says, Twitch is a haven for groomers and unemployed mental cases. Smaller normal streamers get pushed down in the feed too. All the degeneracy is pushed to the front page. It's more a tool to manipulate the youth than for profit. Well, a lot of those companies will look at what they want to push on people and make the decision that what they get out of it is worth more than the money that they lose. Just like we were talking about with Disney.
For Amazon especially.
That's
like
just depressing.
Twitch is just a footnote to Amazon. Like, it's neither here nor there.
Was Amazon the one that shut down the servers on Gab?
Yes.
Huh? Really?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that lets you know where they're
And
values
Parlor.
are.
No,
Parler.
wasn't that
Or
Parlor?
Parler.
Yeah, not Gab.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Remember Parler?
Oh yeah, I remember.
I remember when Kash Patel was here and he was talking about Truth Social. I'm like, bro, I'm not signing up for Truth Social. Like, I can't do that.
Is there still a waiting list?
I have no idea. He's like, I can get you on. I'm like, maybe next time. Like,
I got the hookup to get you on
basically what he
Truth
says.
Social.
He's like, I can get you verified on Truth Social. I'm like,
Wow.
Any truthers in the chat?
yeah.
I'm on there.
Do you read
You are?
Truth stuff?
I'm like, eh.
That's
So-
a tough thing, man. You need a good product
Yeah.
to bring people on.
And so it's just crazy that these companies can operate like with that much of it, because these are massive operations to not be profitable. Like, it makes sense for smaller things, right? As you're building a brand out and you need to make something profitable over time, but the whole entire operation, which costs billions of dollars a year, and they're taking 50% on top of it, like, was that something that you had to deal with on a regular basis? Like, you're like, oh, I made this much money, but then you're like, oh, after the split, you're not
Taxes.
taking nearly as much.
I didn't really think about money all that much. I was like, as long as I have enough to pay my rent, I'm good. Everything else,
bills.
I just bank it.
Yeah.
We've got another $20 from Not That John Stewart. Ruining Brett's fun now. No
Nope.
People's Joker.
No, you do not get to preemptively do that, my friend. I apologize. But to be fair, nobody has sent the super chat igniting or like initiating the watching of the People's Joker. Have you seen this?
I've heard of this.
Okay.
Shane had tweeted something at me about the People's Joker, and I didn't know what it
Well,
was.
Tacty or somebody has to formally request that we watch it, I think, and then we'll watch it.
Sure.
But we won't do that
Just
unless
have it pulled
somebody
up
does it.
in case
I
we
do.
need to.
I
Okay,
do.
yeah, you already were expecting it.
I've got it pulled up here. We'll be able to watch it if we have to. But yeah, so I look at these companies doing this stuff, and it really does feel like cultural, like they're doing it to change the culture.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Tacti Platty said lies. I did, Brett. Tacti Platty did formally request the People's Joker.
We'll have to wait until we get there. If it's in a super chat, we'll have to wait until we get there. So.
Oh no.
I guess so.
How would you like if you could like? Do you use Kick?
What the heck is Kick?
It's another streaming platform.
Oh yeah. No, I have an account. I just reserved my name.
Yeah.
I don't
just
stream on there.
Hold on to it.
Yeah, it's weird. All of these platforms are literally carbon copies of each other.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very hopeful for Rumble. Like they've made a lot of changes in the last couple of months that look very promising. But for the most part, you can't just make a new platform to compete with the platform that people are leaving. That literally just looks like you're using a different skin.
Yeah.
Brett, we just got the formal request from That Stanzatastic. Play that awful People's Joker thing.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and watch this. Are you ready?
Doesn't matter if you're ready, you're gonna get it anyway.
Here we go. We got it.
And then Disco Jensen said,
Hi,
relay
I'm
that
Drew,
order.
and 3 months ago, comedian Brie LaRose dared me to re-edit Todd Phillips' Joker. Now, I'm an Emmy-nominated editor who works primarily with Tim and Eric, so I could give you your standard alt-comedy Joker remix with fart sound effects and rhythmic cuts over nightmare drones, and you'd gobble it up, wouldn't you little piggy? But I'm currently unemployed and stupidly ambitious, so for the past 3 months, I've been writing a feature-length screenplay called The People's Joker. Utilizing clips from the 2019 Oscar contender.
We got the formal request to stop playing it.
Christmas loving engineer said stop playing that awful Joker thing. Not That John Stewart said stop.
All right, we're done with it, ladies and gentlemen.
We've been doing this all week.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, only when it's requested,
Okay.
only when there's guests from outside the company. I don't subject the actual employees of Timcast to this trailer.
That's
unless-
not
I'm so
true.
honored.
Did we? Who did
I
we?
thought we did it earlier this week.
Well, now, but now we're not going to keep doing it. It's just for the guests because we care so much about
So
you.
special.
Shane, I finally understand your tweet.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Mary, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, Happy Friday, Brett, Mary, Gothix, Graeme, and as always, our beloved crisis actors.
Thank you. And we got a $20 one here from Bender the Offender. Says, for the love of God, stop. And another one here from Shane H. Wilder says, Brett and Mary, you know I appreciate both of you for all that you do. So it is with great sorrow that I must humbly ask for a very keep scrolling. Can you, for a very
important request that I wish you acquiesce. Stop the damn video. Thank you for your time.
Excellent use of acquiesce in a sentence. Thank you for that.
We did stop the
good.
video. Nothing to worry about. I also saw the one that you sent to test the super chats earlier.
Yes.
You sent $2 to us.
Yes.
We've got another $20 from Gordon Shumway. Green Day doing what they did is my life full circle when I was young. All of the rebels of the 60s sold out to the system. Now Green Day and Rage Against the Machine are doing the same. I'm so old. Take that Joker crap off.
Sorry. Let's do two more from the
Okay.
top.
High Voltage 75 said, Brett, since Mary dragged you with her to go see that Mean Girls garbage, you should drag her to go see The Beekeeper. It's only fair.
I may go see The Beekeeper this weekend. From what I've been told, I trust Jeremy Johns quite a bit when it comes to movie reviews. I find him to be fairly well balanced. We disagree on some reviews, but he seems to be one of those people where, you know, even when we disagree on movies, I get where he's coming from. And I think he said it looked like a fun time, or it was a fun time. So I'm gonna go and I'll probably go and see it this week. And plus, I didn't end up seeing The Meg 2 in theaters. I didn't see it till later. So I like Statham as an actor. Let's do one more.
Quite Blackpilled said, needs to be said, Rooster got the mission in Top Gun Maverick because he was a Nepo baby. Hangman was the superior pilot and saved the day at the end, and the actual hero of the film. Thanks for coming out, Gothix. Not coming out like that, but like coming out to the studio.
I mean, I've been told my haircut is the lesbian haircut. So
The amount of people that think you're a lesbian is pretty funny.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a you hear that on a regular basis?
A lot, yeah. Every now and then.
Just the hair?
Just the hair. I guess it's a lesbian uniform. Either that or I'm actually a man. Is the other one.
That's a theory. Okay.
Why are people so dumb? Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back after the fact. All right, guys, let's do that. Now I got to get this off my screen. Now it's like just people's Joker everywhere. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this article about the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. This is an article from Breitbart. It says, majority of most inclusive television shows have already been canceled. Well, hallelujah.
But people just hate diversity because they're bigots.
That's
they're
exactly
all
right, Mary.
racist, homophobes, and that's why these shows are getting canceled.
But he says the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiatives. Woo! Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're very close to making Mary watch Buffy right now.
I'm sad that I only get to hear Ian and I don't get to be with Ian since he's not here.
It says it reveals most shows have already been canceled or are being removed. It says the list compiles data regarding on-screen and behind-the-camera personnel to rank the 100 most inclusive broadcast and cable series from the 2021 to 2022 broadcast season and the streaming series from 2021 to 2023. The list also includes the top 20 producers of the most inclusive television shows. I'm guessing that would be like Ryan Murphy and Shonda Rhimes would probably be the ones that you see at the top of those. But it says the research team looked over 560 series airing on broadcast, cable, and streaming platforms with 15 inclusion indicators. I'm just picturing just the dorkiest college professors, just like all of them in women's studies, like, and they're writing it all out like a bunch of dweebs.
And they're paid to do it.
Yes, it says, and guess what those 15 inclusion indicators are. Yep, most of this nonsense. The indicators rank gender, race, ethnicity, LGBTQIA+, disability, and age representation for regular cast.
Age representation.
That's a big one
I have
now.
not seen that a lot.
I'm seeing more of them talking about basically ageism is another one that they're trying to fight.
What does that
Is
mean?
it primarily against the young or the old?
No, that they're not putting enough old people in movies and television, which is not true because old people flourish on television. Maybe not in movies as much, but on television you see plenty of them. Michelle Yeoh is one of those people that's been making a big stink about age being a big part of it. Remember?
Yeah, she was doing an acceptance speech at I forget which award show that was, but she was complaining about how she was discriminated against for being an older woman in Hollywood. She can't get the same roles that younger women in Hollywood can. And she also claimed that she was discriminated against for being Asian.
Yep.
But we do have an aging class of A-lister actors.
The thing that I always point out is I laugh at this. Like if you watch a movie or a television show and they have to say like somebody's attractive, they still use George Clooney as like the example of like the hot guy because there's just no other person that's become like universally shorthand for that type of like, oh, they're handsome. Like
Ryan Gosling kind of.
But
a lot of people actually said Ryan Gosling was too old to play Ken. He was getting bullied.
That's ageism. See? Ageism right there. It's not ageism when we do it.
See,
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Or they're all becoming women. I mean,
so I'm going to list some shows here, and I want anybody here to stop me when it's a show they've watched or seen. Queen Sugar on Oprah's network.
Crickets.
She has a network?
Oprah has her own network. The Baby on HBO.
Nope.
Anybody? Okay, Naomi. That was a superhero show on the CW. Went one season. I think it was a Brian Michael Bendis comic. Anybody? No. Okay, we're going to keep going. All American Homecoming. It's a series on the CW. Anybody?
Bueller.
Okay. 20s.
No.
On BET.
I watched 30s.
Queens on ABC. I'm sure that one's a blast.
I've literally never even heard of these.
Okay. The King of Napa on Oprah's network as well.
Kings of
Nepo?
Nepo.
The 4400.
Nope.
Okay, that's actually based on a really, really good sci-fi series from like back in the day, and it's really bad. It's really racist, but the original is fantastic, which is why it was particularly egregious. I recommend everyone go and check that show out. The original 4400 is fantastic. Okay, Sisters on BET.
Oh, I'm all about Sisters.
I figured somebody's going to say yes at some point here. P-Valley on Stars.
Nope.
No? Now, I wonder why all these shows were canceled. To be fair, not all of these shows were canceled. So All American on the CW wasn't canceled. 20s on BET wasn't canceled. Sisters wasn't canceled. And neither was P-Valley. But the rest of those were all canceled.
Well, thank God for that.
Yes.
I mean, most of these are cable shows, right?
Well, the CW one is not. But yeah, the rest of them are all... look, I've never watched an Oprah Network show, but... You know, I imagine that her and like Tyler Perry probably, they have like their own media empires of their own, you know, that have that target demographic. But the thing is if people don't come out for it or nobody's watching it, what's the point of making it? Because then it doesn't make any money. But it says, of the 10 inclusive cable and broadcast shows, 5 are no longer on the air. Of the top 10 streaming shows, 6 have already been canceled, while 2 limited series were not expected to return. So
How are they top 10? If no one's watching them, how are they top 10?
Is it ranked by the USC Annenberg Initiative as top 10?
Yes,
top 10 most
top
diverse,
10.
not
Okay,
top
I
10
see.
most popular.
Gotcha.
But that's not an unfair question, because this year, of the 20 movies that were in the top 20 movies that made money this year, 10 of them didn't even profit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Disney had just had an abysmal year where its top 3, I think, lost money.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some of these then. Okay, I'm going to ask you some more. I'm going to wait to see if anybody's seen any of these. Raising Dion on Netflix.
No.
Gentrified.
Sorry.
I think it's supposed to be gentrified, but it's not. said that way.
Gentrified?
Gentified.
Gentified.
No.
Oh.
The Garcias. The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray. Well, nobody has Apple TV, that's why. Nobody actually has Apple TV. Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. I see ads for that one. Now and Then.
Nope.
Rap Shit. I'm just reading what it says here.
That sounds promising.
Yes, that's on HBO Max.
Watch that.
With Love.
No.
First Kill. See, that sounds like a great like Seagal movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
We missed a $20 super chat, sorry, from Leon Yoder to Mary. I just watched the whatever episode where you gave your opinion regarding the 19th Amendment, and I was inspired by your courage to speak the truth without hesitation. I wish America had more young women like you. Thanks. Me too. I really wish America had more young women like me.
Somebody please clip that and just put that out there. Somebody said in the chat. Somebody says, wait, I just lost it there. There was a great one that somebody mentioned, but it looks like I've already lost it.
Top 10 criminal wastes of money.
Yes, With Love from Amazon. No. First Kill, Swarm. So has anybody heard of any of?
I
I
have
had
not
heard
of
of
a single.
Swarm. Swarm was actually like I guess it was a take on a crazed Beyonce fan that starts like killing people.
Okay.
Like, you know how bees in
Okay.
the beehive, they swarm.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one I had heard of.
Interesting.
The reason why this matters is because actor Clifton Duncan, he blasts diversity hiring as an insult to any minority. So let's listen to what he has to say. He says, diversity hiring after saying it's an insult, and says, the actor known for parts in serial TV shows like NCIS New Orleans, Flesh and Bone, and The Good Fight, all of which did well. All of those shows are still, well, New Orleans isn't still on the air, but all of them were on for more than just one season, right?
Well,
So he
I
appeared
want to
on-
read from his post from X.
I've got it pulled
Just
up here, yeah.
I'll like editorialize here a little bit.
Okay.
He said, I earned my MFA from the finest acting conservatory in the US. Only 2% of applicants make it in. He said he got it on his first go. And in 2021, one of my former classmates got in touch with me. We hadn't spoken in years, but he had seen some of my commentary and interviews online. At one point in our conversation, he asked me a question that stopped me cold. Do you think the fact that you're black had anything to do with your success? And I had no idea how to answer. That uncertainty gets to the heart of my issue with diversity hiring. On one hand, I'm certain I benefited due to my skin color. It's nice that people were looking to boost minorities like me. On the other hand, people of all races have been in my corner since I was 16, long before wokeness emerged. Everyone predicted I had a long career ahead of me, and I fulfilled that promise. And that's why I reject diversity hiring. I never needed it. It's an insult to any minority with a shred of self-respect. It casts a shadow over all I've done because I'm not sure how much of my success is due to me and how much is due to white guilt.
Amen.
Do you think that that's true?
Yeah.
You do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I saw this post yesterday, I think, and it's Clifton. You're awesome, like incredibly well said.
We should have him on the show.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that it instills a feeling of self-doubt for people that are actually like in it to be successful based on their own merits. But I do also think that these industries are so cutthroat that a lot of people are willing to just look the other way or not think about it because it's helping them pay the bills. And at the same time, I can't really fault someone. Like, one of the things people get really mad about is when somebody takes a job that they feel like they shouldn't take. There was some casting choice that was made recently that we talked about, and they said, no, he shouldn't have taken that job. And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna like tell a dude he shouldn't go take a job that's offered to him. That doesn't make any sense to me. Not in the real world. Like, sure, on an ideological level, on a theoretical level, that might make sense, but that's not how things actually work in the real world. Being an actor is already very, very difficult to do for a living, right? It's very, very hard to make a lot of money doing something like that, or even enough money to pay your bills and buy a home or have insurance. So to expect people to not take a job and not feed their family because of those types of principles, that's a fantastic thing to want. But it's not realistic to believe is actually going to happen.
Well, it's people making a moral claim.
Yes.
They're making a moral claim that, like, you should not have done this. And it's like, okay, well, on what standard are you saying that I should not have done this?
Yeah.
It's like, what, where do you get your idea? Where do you get your idea of morality? Where are you basing this off of? And it's, there is a religion behind all of this, that they do believe in these certain things that you should not have done. And if you did it, then you're immoral. You're a bad person for having done this. And you have to sort of get at why. Why do you believe I should not have done this? Where do you get your sense of morality from? That this was wrong of me to have done this.
Also, you have to imagine that a lot of these people, they're just not as invested in like this aspect of the industry as other people are, right? So they might not see it as a problem the same way that you or that somebody else might.
Right. The people criticizing it are oftentimes people that are not, in that path of life. They're watching from the bleachers, and they're making their comments on how something was coached.
I don't think you can change this. I don't think that there's a way back for this in this industry. Not so much of these policies are ingrained into the actual HR manuals that these companies are run on now, that the idea that they're going to walk it back is
the
ridiculous.
Oscars is enforcing it now because if you want to get acclaimed, you have to fit their standards to even be eligible for nomination.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice at that point.
Yeah.
But for
If
you,
you care about the
Gothix, like,
Oscars.
I mean, this guy's talking about, applying to, in academia spaces. Affirmative action, like, that's definitely a thing. But for someone who's, like, completely self-made, it doesn't really apply the same way.
I mean, the whole diversity hiring thing, I just don't understand why anyone would want to play into that anyway, because then I would be overthinking, like, am I getting this because of my merit or just because I'm a black face and you needed a box to check off? And I think a big portion of why people even go along with this whole concept is because I think people are entitled about how the world should run. So if they look at a particular industry and they're like, oh, there's not enough black faces in this industry, we need to have more black faces here. Well, like, who says? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if I don't get hired somewhere for whatever reason, I just work harder, and I don't find it I don't like that excuse.
I think that's just part of your personality, though, like, as an individual, because you clearly are someone who values earning your success.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be judged on your merits, but there are a lot of people, especially like Gen Z and maybe Gen Alpha, like rising in the ranks, entering the adult world, who are perfectly happy with getting handouts that they don't deserve. They like that.
Well, they
they
want the
think
stuff.
they deserve that.
They want the stuff. They're entitled, and they don't want to consider maybe they're just not as good as they think they are, and they need to get better at it. Like, and I'm willing to do the work. Like, if I'm not genuinely good at my craft, I want you to tell me, what can I work on? I will work on it, and that's it.
A lot of people also have this mindset that, like, they've suffered such a trauma that they deserve payback from the world for it. I mean, it sounds insane, but it's true.
Well, if you listen to most of the speeches that a lot of these actors give, what did we just talk about with FKA Twigs yesterday about her long self-aggrandizing speech about why her stupid Calvin Klein ad was so, groundbreaking.
Right.
There's a sense of entitlement.
I'm a strong woman of color, and this is why they're banning my Calvin Klein ad where I'm naked, because they're afraid of my
Melanin.
powerful woman of color body. It's just so stupid.
Yes. And I look at most of this stuff and I just wonder where, like, at least for me, like if I don't succeed at something, I tend to also be the person to think that this is because of me and not because of somebody else. I'm very, like, I'm loath to ever consider the idea that somebody else is like out to get me.
Right.
I don't like that concept because it's unenforceable. It's not something you can actually fix.
Right.
If you constantly keep that mindset for everything, all it ends up becoming is just an ironclad excuse for everything that doesn't work out. Whereas even if it's true 2 out of 10 times, the idea that you hold yourself radically responsible for your success or failure will always be more likely to benefit you.
Yeah, I mean,
down the line.
It's a huge sense of self-importance that you think that people are thinking about you so much.
Yes.
That they're after you. And you're right. I mean, that's a great example that, like, even if it's true 2 out of 10 of the times, you can't import that onto the other 8 because it's just, it makes you see the world inaccurately. I mean, we see it sort of with the whole concept of racism, that racism in this country was largely across the board gone by the 90s, at least in a broad sense. And there has been an actual intentional revival of it, a bringing back to life of it by saying that all of these other actions that have nothing based in race were fully based in race. And we still need to fight for more rights along those lines. And it's like all the rights have been fought for. And you just have to be okay with running into someone that doesn't like what you do and not assume that it was because of your color.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
A lot of people, I like the explanation, say like the reason that Gen Z and Gen Alpha would be so obsessed with like civil rights and stuff like that is because a lot of people believe that like the fight for gay marriage was like the last big civil rights issue here in America, and a lot of these kids feel like they were cheated out of the chance to like stand for.
They don't have a dragon to slay.
Yeah. So when you don't have one, you have to then make one up.
Yep.
And constantly go find them everywhere. I also think that a large part of that is also the disconnected nature of the 90s and the lack of the internet. I would love to see somebody do a social experiment to see what it could have looked like somehow to have like a fully connected internet in the easily accessible to everyone. Would it have really been any different than it is now? Would I have been tweeting about Moesha in the 90s? I probably would have. Right? But the point is like, would that notion that racism was gone have existed in a time when then people were then communicating with people outside of their general friend demographic in a more homogenized culture at the time? Right? You were living in an area and the people you interacted with for the most part were people you went to school with or people you worked with, which also forced you to actually treat people like human beings because you weren't interacting with avatars of other people, which as we know is the easiest way to dehumanize one another.
Yep.
I love to hear about, people talking about growing up in that era and remembering when they went to school and they didn't think about the color of the person that they were with.
Yep.
They might have, they would, if they were to describe their friend or something like that, they might describe them that way, but they're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like impossible not
Well,
to
they
think
definitely
about it.
didn't think about it when they were watching TV.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking further into this, and apparently Clifton Duncan wrote another thread about all of these different facts that Breitbart got wrong. So he's fact checking Breitbart right now. Yeah, he said Breitbart says Duncan's first acting credit came in 2009 when he was a teen, and he said, I was 26 years old. That's when I got out of grad school. But there were other things that he pointed out. Another point that he brings up, though, is the only reason I'm not working right now is because I didn't get the vaccine.
Yep.
That
Another
sucks.
big one for them, which is funny because that all came down to money anyways, because there was so much money to be made by continuing lockdown protocols and investment in testing kits and all of that stuff. It always comes back to money. All right. I would love to see all this stuff change. I don't think it changes in the next 5 to 10 years. The best thing you could say is the decentralization towards online content. Look, I have more fun watching Instagram comedy videos than I do anything that comes out of almost anything that comes out of Hollywood these days. I get more enjoyment out of a Ryan Long comedy skit than I do out of just about anything that gets made these days. And there are tons of creators, all of which are successful, again, on their own merits because they have to survive in the jungle that is the internet, and not a bunch of corporations, unilaterally pushing them to the top of the pile on anything. And that's where you actually go now to find creative content where you can be colorblind and say, I like this creator just because they make something I want to watch, not because it's somebody that they're telling me I have to see.
I think the main reason it's not going to change is because most people in the entertainment industry don't feel the same way that Clifton Duncan feels.
Yeah.
If they can qualify for affirmative action or diversity hiring, they'll take it.
Yeah.
And
If
there
it's
is a
being offered, they'll take it.
They serve the god of money.
Amount of white guilt from a lot of the self-flagellation from so many of them is. I mean, it goes beyond that. I mean, you see it also with just men feeling guilty for being men in Hollywood these days.
Yeah.
Again, we need to bring men's summits. We need to make men's summits a thing. There's 1,000 women's summits every year. Women are constantly...
We need Dude Con.
Women are constantly patting themselves on the back. Gentlemen, it's time for you to get together with your bros and start celebrating the bros.
Mary,
okay?
the entire world is Dude Con. Okay?
Yes, that's what it is.
All right. Every
Right.
day is Dude Con.
Because it's a man's world.
That's what
I
they would
get
say.
it, yeah.
We got a $20 super chat here from the Underp Taker. It says, Brent is correct. Dehumanizing people face to face is a skill which is being lost.
Brent.
It's way
So
too
true.
easy when it's digital avatar. Besides, you can't really be sure they're a minority. It could be a bot. So what he's saying is he's like anyone can dehumanize someone online. It takes a real person to dehumanize.
If
another
you want to
person.
say something heinous, like, you might as well have the balls to say it
Yes.
in person, is his point.
Well, what did Mike Tyson say? The internet's got too many of you people feeling comfortable saying shit without getting punched in the mouth. He's right.
Okay.
And then somebody in here says BrettCon. Yes, I will start
BrettCon
BrettCon.
I like Dude
25.
Con better.
Dude Con.
I prefer Dude Con.
Dude Con's nice.
Headliner Brett Dasovic.
Yes,
How about
I
that?
will. I will be the first keynote speaker at DudeCon. All right, let's do super chats.
The last of my kind said, y'all are my road trip show. Maverick over OG, but OG is still awesome. Happy birthday to my big sis, Marlene? I hope I said that right.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Marcos said, been sick all week, but hey, it's Friday.
Yes.
TGIF, right? Yurishima Otaru said, no or let's go. Let's know?
No. I like Let's Go, personally.
Oh, no, that was Pat the Plumber. Yurishima Otaru said, I canceled my Prime. I'm not paying for ads.
Has that started yet? Okay, so what they did is, like, normally if you have a streaming service and they change the price, they just upgrade you to that price.
Yeah.
Now what they did is, like, they leave you on the ad tier, and then you have to, like, sign up to get the non-ad tier. And
Right.
It costs like $3 more. I hate ads, so I am literally on a one-man jihad against ads. I'm against them whole hog, and I had to go on the internet and sign up for the non-ad tier so that I would not see a single ad on Amazon Prime. I already don't like the fact that they include like 15-second commercials for their own products, unlike Paramount and Amazon. Like, I don't want a 15-second ad for the Wheel of Time. Don't do that to
No
me. I
thanks.
paid for no ads.
DCNC said, Mary, do you watch ads on YouTube? I do, because I'm not going to pay for YouTube Premium.
I
not
would
worth
pay
it.
if I had to keep one. If I wasn't working here and I was watching back before I worked here, I watched a lot more content online than I do now. Was at one point YouTube Red at the time was the only one that I had because it allowed you to watch with your phone in your pocket and not have to actually have the screen open.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
that's just way better. But I always laugh because, like, downstairs here at the castle, they have like regular YouTube, and I'm like, this is your money is made on YouTube. How do you not have YouTube Premium here? What the hell is this? I'm not watching.
We don't want to pay
ads.
Google.
I get it.
Jacob Edler.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen a good ad? An ad that you glad you saw?
No, there's
Never.
no such thing as that. I could watch an ad for something for me, and I would think it was awful. Like if there was a PCC ad, I would still hate it.
I don't believe
I
you.
would.
I don't believe you.
No ads.
Jacob Edler said cooking crack would probably be less boop. Can't say that word on YouTube. TBH. Shane H. Wilder said the minute the employee leaves, she throws away the steak and starts cooking crack.
Good, she's
That's how
gone.
you always get them.
Let's do two more. Ben Tomsky and yeah.
Ben Tomsky said that guy was rude to me. I want his life and livelihood to end in flames. That only sounds fair in a woman's mind. What is that a reference to?
What were we talking about?
I don't even know. These bitches want Nikes said, big fan, first time contributing. Thoughts on Green Day recently being cringe again.
There you go.
Yeah, we already addressed that. Tacti Platty said, this super chat is for Sir Ranko too. Hope Mary enjoys Buffy. Also, Brett, you know what to do. Wink, wink, roll that beautiful bean footage.
We did play the trailer. He was referring to the People's Joker trailer. So we'll,
Yes,
we have
done and
done
done.
so already. All right, if I was being mean, I'd be like, okay, let's do it again now that we've been officially asked. All right, guys, let's move on, shall we? Mary, why don't you tell us what the hell is going on with this story about this absolutely insane casting process?
Yes, an actor named Vincent Gallo is currently under investigation by SAG-AFTRA. He has faced some Me Too style claims for making super creepy, gross comments at women in auditions. Sort of a casting couch situation. Nothing that we haven't heard of from Hollywood already. It's always just interesting when these stories continue coming out about Hollywood because they're such degenerates that they simply can't help themselves. And these stories and headlines keep circulating. Yeah. So it says Gallo made lewd comments to the actors during the audition process for The Policeman. And this is about the, what is the serial killer's name? The Golden State serial killer. A prolific serial
killer. The name
killer
needs work, that's all I'm saying.
named Joseph James D'Angelo. So Vincent Gallo was going to play this serial killer, and he was doing auditions with women who were going to play his victims. And he got a little bit too into the role. I guess this is like method acting gone too far.
Are there quotes?
There are quotes. Brett, would you like to read the quotes or shall I?
You can read them. They're suspiciously, like, for something where they're saying that these weren't recorded, they're suspiciously,
They're very specific, so I'm hoping that this comes from a recording and eventually we will be able to listen to it for proof.
Otherwise, this person might have an eidetic memory or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I buy that they remember the quote that well.
So one actress claims Gallo told her, quote, "If I say to suck my boob or I will kill you, I want you the person, not you the character, not you the actor, but you, to truly believe you will die if you don't do as I say. And just like you would in real life, if this were happening to you, I want you to do all of the actions necessary to do that. You won't actually suck my boob, but you do not have the power. I have all the power. You have no control. I am in complete control." Another actress said that she was told something similar in an audition. Vincent Gallo allegedly said to her, quote, "I may ask you to suck my boob on screen, and I want an actress who is not going to put up a fight about that. You're going to be offended by what I ask you, and I don't want any of your personal feminist values. You don't want to do this, you don't think it's fair, but you know what? The victim didn't have a choice, and neither will you as the actress. Of course, we can't actually have you give me head on screen, but the point is that I want someone who will not stop production to call their agent or complain, etc., because they're offended." Wow. So those are the full quotes.
Wow.
Where's the intimacy coordinator in all this? That's what I want.
Yeah, which
vacation.
It's weird that he's saying all this because obviously the actress does have a choice if she wants to be there. Yeah. She voluntarily takes the job or doesn't. Right?
Yeah, something to keep in mind. I mean, this could I don't know. This could have happened. I don't know. But that Vincent Gallo is one of the actors in one of the Daily Wire productions, Shut In. And
oh, interesting.
Yeah,
well, it wasn't a Daily Wire production, was it?
I think Shut In was.
No, I thought
they licensed that.
They licensed that.
I thought that was
somebody in the chat.
Run, Hide, Fight.
Okay. I thought they did both that and the Hyperions were all like, I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure Terror on the Prairie was their only original
production.
We got a $20 here from
production.
Bender the Offender says, "As a Gen Z person who did not have access to the internet throughout my teens, I have to say it had more of a positive impact on how I treat people and how I view their opinions." Yeah, as I was pointing out yesterday, you ever see those videos online where somebody says like, I got off the internet for a year, I quit social media for a year. You never see somebody be like, it was a mistake, holy crap, that was awful. They always are happy they did it, right? Nobody's ever less happy by taking time off the internet. You're always in a better mood when you come back, and then it ruins your mood again.
Wait, so Graeme, do you think that this all of these claims coming out could be motivated in some sense by the fact that he is in Shut In?
I think it depends on what people's perspective. My own perspective about Vincent Gallo was like not knowing that it was a purchased film. I thought Shut In was a Daily Wire production. And if you think it's a Daily Wire production, then it appears that this actor is sort of in support of this movement. And if you believe that, then, well...
It's not unreasonable for people to assume that if they don't know the details.
Exactly. But with that said, I don't know. This could be the motivation, but I having not been there, not knowing the details, not hearing Vincent's response to any of this.
It looks like it was distributed by the Daily Wire. Production company was Bonfire Legend, so yes, it was through the Daily Wire.
Okay, yeah, Bonfire, is producing pretty much all the
Got
stuff.
it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, but if that's what if they see Vincent as a target, I mean, how many times have we seen this? That someone does something they don't like with, and they come out with the sexual
This is interesting.
accusations.
Another one of the complaints alleges that Vincent Gallo said he wanted the film environment on set to feel, quote, fully improvised, and that he needed actresses who were open to having their minds and bodies be 100% dominated by him. Quote, I may ask you to get nude at any time, and I need an actress who's going to do it, because that's what the victim would have done to stay alive.
Yeah. I mean, again, totally possible. I mean, I'm sure this stuff happens in Hollywood
see,
all the flipping time.
Well, yeah, we were
but it's
talking
just
about
weird.
this because
It's
of Arden
weird.
Young's
Yeah.
You have to
recent
feel
videos
free.
where
Yeah.
it's this culture that's in the creative
Yeah.
sphere where you have to be sexually open
Yeah.
and willing to do anything sexually on or off camera, or else you're not a true artist.
Yeah. We were talking about that at lunch today, that art will justify all sorts of terrible things
Yeah.
being done in the sexual realm because, like, oh, this is just art. This is just art that we're doing here. But yeah, that while again, it could be totally. Thank you. It could be totally possible that all of these things were actually said. That Vincent actually did this. But it seems like there's probably all sorts of executives that did this and significantly worse. That for some reason the accusations are not coming out against them. But I don't know. I can't speak on it too much without really knowing the details.
Yeah. I guess a lot of... Stop it!
That was quick.
I guess a lot of actors and actresses end up doing scenes that are either like partial nudity or like sexual in nature when they originally wouldn't have thought they would be open to doing that, because it's kind of your only choice when you're trying to get more roles.
I think I just saw something.
You're
that
trying
said-
to like build groundwork so you can have the choice later on in your career to not do those
I
things.
think Julia Roberts just said something recently where she said she never did it and always used a body double, Like, so some people...
I mean, I feel
So
like
she
even
made some other poor woman do
Yes.
it.
Yeah, even the body double thing is like, I wouldn't want people to perceive that I
Yeah.
was
Like your
nude on
body.
camera either. I
Yeah.
wouldn't care
They have,
whether
like,
it
a
was real or
clause
fake.
that, like-
I wouldn't want to do
They
it.
have like a clause like must be a better body. It must have a nicer body than me, just so that it's always like, a better. Like, I don't want to have to
kind
work
of
out before
bizarre.
the movie. So if they
Yeah.
do that, somebody else can do all the work to stay in shape.
That gives
beforehand.
serious human trafficking vibes when it's just like, I won't do it, but I'll make this other poor woman.
Yeah, and these types of things, they're so par for the course in Hollywood now that you forget that these types of things are actually, they should be seen as abhorrent rather than just, another story of this happening.
Yeah.
Like, and for this actor, like, again, I don't know if he's innocent or guilty.
Yeah.
I thought the detail to the quote sounded like something they had a recording of rather than actually remembering somebody saying something that specific and detailed, right? Does it
Yeah.
set off any bells to anyone there?
I mean, I'm sort of I'm thinking like, where's the recording? Because people can say whatever,
Yeah.
and we weren't there. We don't know. It's just based off of what they say. So, yeah, it's very specific, that quote.
It's very specific.
All
Very,
of it is very,
very
specific,
specific.
so that would make you think it was being recorded surreptitiously.
Want to see this movie?
Is it out yet? I know it's also with James Franco, who people hate. He got
Also,
Me
just,
Too.
Like, think about, like, in the culture of Hollywood now, of supposedly after Me Too feelings like that free to say something like that, like, you'd think there would be more of a culture of fear amongst the actors to not want to get caught saying something that egregious to
You
another
would
person.
think,
You
but
would
as I
think.
said, they're such degenerates that they literally can't help themselves, and that's why they keep walking into these situations.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying this is true or false. Like, we literally have no idea. But it seems like that's your reaction to these Me Too stories.
Yeah,
Yaz.
I want more information. I'm not saying that people wouldn't go as far as to do that, because as you were mentioning, like if you're a young actress and you're trying to make it, it's like you want to get the groundwork in, so you're going to be more willing to, do things that you didn't think about doing if it means more roles. And I think people, who are hiring, they're very predatory, and they'll use that.
I would like to we should get one of those calendars behind us. It's been X amount of days since somebody in Hollywood did something degenerate and gross, and it just never leaves.
It would literally never make
Zero.
it to 24 hours because every 24 hours there's just a new headline, like
just
someone else in
zero every
Hollywood
day.
accused.
Every single day. And the sad thing is that none of these people it's like nothing ever comes of it, right? Because nobody ever gets prosecuted for anything. They lose work for a while, they get bad headlines, but then nothing ever changes. And that's the most depressing part about it is nothing.
Hollywood didn't want to change. You know, they kept MeToo at bay and used it to weaponize it against the people they already wanted to blacklist, and none of the actual predators ended up getting blacklisted or exposed by it. It was a totally useless movement that got weaponized against people who didn't deserve it a lot of the time.
We'll wait and see if anything more comes out about this. This could also just equally be one of those stories that ends up disappearing and never coming back. Has anybody heard anything about Russell Brand after that happened? It was a big deal for like
he just
a
got
week and then just
demonetized on YouTube,
and then nothing came of
nothing.
it.
Yeah.
Nothing. Right?
Maybe that
He's
was the
still making
goal all
videos.
along,
Yeah.
was to get him demonetized and stop him from making a living on YouTube.
Well, I do think a lot of it had to do with it being an election year coming up and that he was going pretty hard at stuff that were politically motivated topics, but we'll wait and see. All right, let's go to Super Chats. We got a $20 one there real quick.
Disco Jensen said, young women do this degenerate scene where I debase you. Remember, your career is on the line. Hint, get a new career. Yeah, they would be better off not trying to make it in Hollywood in the first place. That's
Maybe
for
then
sure.
after that, you just only sign up for Hallmark movies or like something. Just
Yogurt commercials.
Maybe don't do the serial killer movies just as a
Oh,
rule
we
of
got
thumb.
a $100 super chat from Incompetent Hands. Buffy time, let's go.
There you go.
We're officially at 10 parties. It hasn't gone off yet, though.
But Mary will now watch all of season 1 of Buffy.
That's okay. 12 episodes is not
got
bad
You
at
got
all.
it. Let's go!
Derek Knoll said Joss Whedon writes his characters like Kevin Smith wishes he could. Mary needs to watch Firefly. Good modern sci-fi.
Yes, Firefly is actually probably one of the better examples of like I'm not a space opera person. I never cared about Star Wars. I just didn't. I don't really care about Star Trek either, but I love Firefly.
Yeah.
So.
Firefly is well written. The special effects suck.
Yes.
Just be aware of that. Or I should say the visual effects suck.
It's one of the most endearing parts about it, I find, because I saw it later. I didn't see it when it came out, and it probably would have looked less dated when it came out. Again, that was a Fox show for some reason. I don't know why they thought that was going to succeed at Fox at that time period, which was canceling everything. But
I watched the first episode of Merlin, and I was like, this was made in 2005?
I think it's 2008.
2008?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's the lowest of low budgets, and I love everything about it. It's fantastic.
Yash said, Mary, do better.
Why does Mary have to do better?
He showed a ghost pushing a shopping cart into a car.
This
is my
there's
reputation.
a question for
Oh,
you.
yes. I heard about this.
How do you guys feel about the people who don't put their shopping carts back at grocery stores?
I think they should be imprisoned.
I should be in prison then.
Yes.
I've gotten better at it because of my husband. He will return the shopping carts, but I have been notorious for
Because he's a Christian man.
You know
It's
what?
a man's job.
Because my logic is like someone is on payroll to put these back,
And
so
you're
this
right.
is their job. You know, if I take away their job, they're not going to have a job.
Oh, my word.
You do know that when they're in the cart corral, they still have to go back. What you're actually doing is just putting other cars in danger of
Correct.
the cart moving. The
They deserve
guy,
it.
The guy still has to come out and get them from the
Right.
corral.
You're
they don't
making-
just because it's in the corral, it doesn't
It's true.
teleport
Correct.
into the store.
You do make a good point.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
making a customer's
Okay.
life more miserable.
Yeah.
Because
Well, maybe
odds
that was
are-
the plan.
That is the plan. Like, we're trying to make the world more chaotic. Sweet
you
Potato Knight said, Mary is also a spoon stealer. Hashtag I came here for Seamus. I'm not a spoon stealer. I thought that was Seamus. all along.
Seamus is the spoon stealer.
Yeah. Corey Anderson said, did you finish Harry Potter, Mary? Yes, I did. Not a fan. Brett, for the love of all that is holy, please do not play that video today. It's too late. Rebel
Sorry. Do two more.
Patriot Live said Twitch is heavy in the Panderverse during COVID. They gave a bunch of POC creators partner status who did not meet minimum requirements.
Is that true?
Oh yeah, that's true.
They even admitted it?
No,
Or
you
is
can
that-
just tell. It's like, boo boo, you got 5 viewers. What is going on? Why do you
Well,
have?
What are the minimum requirements? Have they changed? over the years?
To my knowledge, I don't think they've changed, but it was like you have to have 50 concurrent viewers stream for like X amount of hours, and people were just getting. I saw an increase of POC creators getting partnership during the Black Lives Matter riots. You know,
What
so-
are the benefits of being partnered?
just to say that you're a partner.
That's literally it.
Yeah, and you
What?
yeah, it's literally at this point. It's just to say
There's no
that-
like monetary.
No, I mean
change.
for like TwitchCon, you'd get access to like the TwitchCon parties. You know, the private partner area. You get free swag.
Wow.
So it's sort of like a respect thing. But if you're just getting it literally because you're brown, then I don't understand.
It's not really respectful. That's crazy. I thought that you got like a bigger cut of your revenue or something if you were partnered, but it's
No.
literally just
You unlock the ability to run ads on your channel, which I mean, who wants more ads?
Okay. Interesting. Amber Graham said, "Hey Brett, Mary, and crew. This is my first super chat in honor of my birthday today. Happy birthday!
Thank you,
If
and
you
happy
see
birthday.
Paisley in PCC Pets, that's my puppy. Also, Mary, I just started watching Buffy too. Join me. Well, now I have no choice. I'm going to join you.
Let's do one more. And happy birthday.
There were so many $20 ones here. Corey Anderson said Brie LaRose is the real villain here with that horrible Joker video.
All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back. Now I want to talk to the both of you specifically because you had a documentary that just came out
Yes.
very, very recently.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. And you were the one who produced this.
Yes, I was.
It's like, it like emphasizes. Yes, I was.
Exclamation point.
Yeah. So,
How did you guys meet? Sorry, wait until the crisis
Mary,
party.
go
story.
How did you guys meet, and how did you, decide to make this documentary together?
Should I take this one?
Yeah, you take it.
Okay, so we met on this wonderful platform of YouTube, technically. So I had a corporate client. I co-own a creative agency. We make videos for companies and do music videos for bands and things like that.
Small, media, large is
Small,
the
media,
name?
large. That's
Yeah.
right. And we had our biggest corporate client that we'd ever had. We just got them, and they had signed the contract. We were getting ready to edit these videos, and they sent me the check to pay for this. And we get the footage that we weren't even filming anything. We were just editing, and it was still, just a big break for us. And we get the footage, and it's basically a politically bent narrative. We have to, make a bunch of videos that are, non-political in nature, but just one of them is like a pro transgender video. And I get the footage and I'm just like, I can't do this. And so I emailed them, and knowing probably what was about to happen, and said, hey, I'm happy to do all of these videos. I can't do this one. And I know my business partners aren't going to do it. Is there any way you could find someone else to do just this one? We're happy to do all the others. We know that you guys want us to do these. And I got a phone call about 5 minutes after that, and just livid. So we lost that contract. I got the check in the mail, and I was staring at the check, and I couldn't cash it.
Right. Well, are you able to provide any other details about
Who the company was?
who the company was, or what was that pro transgender video really about? Like, was that promoting some kind of product or an NGO or something?
I'll keep it broad and just say that it was someone, a transgender person, talking about using the genderless version of their razor that they sold because they found it to be sexier. And
And a razor can be genderless.
yes,
gendered.
the razor did not have male or female genitalia. So I wasn't going to edit that. We lost the contract, and after I lost that contract, I had this like, the next thing I make needs to matter. And I had discovered Gothix like 2 weeks before that. And
well, we've got actually a super chat here from Jay Brief. Says, loving the show. Cheers to Gothix and Graeme for getting her story out in a compelling and engaging format. Friends from the SCO. SC.
Moscow.
Hey, Moscow.
Oh,
yeah.
from
Yes.
Moscow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
right.
for the big super chat. as
And
well.
guys, just if you do super chat, we're gonna hold off to read the $20 and over ones for the interview portion, just so as to not interrupt. But I want to get that
Sure.
out there.
Yeah.
Let them know. Okay, continue on.
Yeah. So I discovered her like
Genderless
2 weeks
racers.
before that.
Right.
I know, isn't that insane?
I'm sorry. Genderless racers. Like
A sexy racer.
Look,
Yeah,
like,
sexier.
They talk all the time about the pink tax and how like women
Love my
pay more
sexy
for
non-binary
them being razors and
razor.
stuff, right?
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think it was gray, which is just funnier.
Well, that is a very neutral color.
Yeah, but so it was actually the blessed YouTube algorithm that had caused me to discover Gothix, and it was a surprise to say the least when I saw that Gothix does not, obviously, to all you viewers, she doesn't look like someone who would have the opinions that she has, and that was
Whatever
surprising.
do you mean by that?
I was about to
Excuse
say,
you,
what
sir.
the hell does that mean?
But that was what I ran into. Was I watched this video, ran into a coherent argument for the things that I believed in, and I wasn't anticipating to hear it from her. And so
Do you remember what it was specifically?
the video was your video, "White Privilege is a Crutch," and that's a pretty ambiguous title that could sort of go one way or the other. And I saw the thumbnail and her face was on it, and I was like, "This is a liberal woman who's about to tell me that I'm evil for being white." And but I was like,
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
"Awesome, man! They're coming in, huh?"
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at 11.
Wow.
All right.
But
Continue, my
Sorry we keep interrupting you.
no, that's all right. These
With
are
our
good
money
interruptions.
guns.
Yeah, best thing to be interrupted by. So yeah, that was a big ambiguous title, but I wanted to know what who I perceived to be a very leftist woman, what the argument was going to be, and so I watched it, and I was just surprised, to say the least, that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
So did you
and
reach
I
out
just
to her?
Yeah, well, I just did like a deep dive in all her videos, and then after we lost that corporate client, I started messaging her, and you can take it from here.
Yeah.
Those messages.
Yeah, so he started messaging me, and I ignored him.
Because he's like, hey, you don't sound like you look. Is that what he said?
No,
I didn't
it
say that.
it wasn't even that. It was the fact that this random stranger sent me an email wanting to make a movie about me. This is weird. Who is this weirdo? So I just deleted
Could have been a serial
it.
killer.
Exactly. I deleted it, and I
Still don't know I'm not.
He was very persistent, and eventually he ended up in my live chat. I think he super
Yeah.
chatted and got my attention. I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, so I got her email, and then we connected through that, and we'd had a video chat. I don't know, a few days after we finally connected through email, and it was because my kids came in the room. Mm-hmm. I have 3 kids, and they came in the room when we were having our video chat, and it was like, oh, this guy's a human being.
Yeah, he's normal.
Yeah.
He's not a serial
He could
killer.
have hired those kids. Those
Could have
kids
been a
act
weird
like-
Vincent Gallo situation.
That's right. Yeah. You don't
You know
these
what I
aren't-
mean?
You don't know these are my kids.
But then, so like when you first came out here, that was over 2 years ago now,
Yeah.
right? And you had already started working on it at that point now. So this documentary is 2 years in the making.
Actually,
3.
nearly
3.
3.
Nearly
We
3.
started February of 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you started making this process, and like, if I had to give my honest opinion about it, I said that it was an emotional roller coaster, and I think the reason that rang so true to me is that now in the digital age, that type of story is going to be more and more prevalent as more and more people realize that you're not going to be allowed to break from the narrative ever for most things, and it takes just the smallest misstep, and it does connect to a show like ours because it was related to the Little of all things, which
Yeah.
also just came out this year, to
Yeah.
the casting of the Little Mermaid.
Like something so stupid and frivolous as
Yes.
a kids Disney movie could kick off like this whole life story, this whole like, I guess I called it a villain origin story because
Yeah.
it turned
In a way,
you
yeah.
against your whole community.
A grifter
right?
origin story.
Yes.
But it turned your community against you, shall I say.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah. But I look back at it in hindsight, and I'm like, I think that was supposed to happen, like in a way. And I know that a lot of other people go through the same stuff. And as you said, it's something so ridiculous to get canceled over a Little Mermaid movie, and that should tell you something. Like, people are willing to go those lengths to destroy someone. Imagine if it's a more serious opinion. It's.
Right.
I think it's it's a film that people need to see in this digital age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you end up seeing the Little Mermaid movie? when
No,
it came out?
That's somehow even funnier.
Like, that's even funnier.
Oh man, that is not my area.
The funniest thing would be she goes and she loves it. She's like, damn it, no.
I
It
doubt
would have been a full circle
It would've.
completion.
She's
of the
like,
story.
okay, guys, I was kidding. I'm back. Like
That would have been a nice little like post-credit scene
Yeah.
for the documentary.
Actually, I took the blue pill.
back down. Hey, I remember that. I think it was Mike Cernovich had the one, or maybe it was Stephen Molyneux said the thing is like, I wish I could vomit up the red pill. I feel that way sometimes. I feel that way. Like I wish that I could just go back to a world before I really understood the media's game and the way things were going in society. I feel that way. Do you feel like there's anything that you came to learn from this documentary process that you may not have? Because your process, it goes through all the things that happened to you in your professional life. Was there anything that filming the documentary specifically felt like you learned from it? Did it cause you to self-reflect on a lot of this stuff?
Oh, I mean, I mean a lot. Not necessarily with the documentary itself, although it was great. It was a great process.
Oh, thank you.
But I mean, just the whole journey of me going through cancel culture, I think the biggest thing for me is realizing that for the most part, people are very tribal. And I think people don't want to be alone or feel as though they're excommunicated from their tribe for going against whatever the tribe thinks is socially acceptable. So I think this is really what fuels cancel culture, is this idea that if I go against what my tribe says, I'm going to get excommunicated. And now my perspective is, well, these people are not the cultural moral arbiters. Like, that's not where I get my standard for right and wrong, is what the culture says. And I think that's the biggest thing now, is like, I don't really worry about offending people anymore, because if it's the truth, it's the truth. And if you're offended, that's not my problem.
Most people don't think about it that way. Like, it's such a simple mindset to have, but most people do not go about life that way. And I thought about the way that this would be received, because obviously, you know, being a podcaster or a streamer or a public figure on the internet of some kind is something that the vast majority of people can't relate to, but they can relate to encountering groupthink in their real lives, in their social circles. So that's the important lesson I think that they could take away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I get messages all the time from people that are just like, they have these conversations, or they're afraid to like really voice their opinion, even on a micro level, with their family or friends. And it's like, they're not even content creators. And it's like, but even that, you are so worried about how people perceive you in situations where you're just trying to have a discussion. You're just trying to be honest. And yeah, man, it's a crazy world out there.
It's a good story about the way that the internet can psychologically break you.
Yes.
though.
Yes.
Like, because you're not
Yes.
meant to see those types of numbers. It's one thing if you are arguing with your uncle over Thanksgiving dinner about politics and you have a falling out or something with a friend because you disagree about Trump. But seeing the numbers on the screen of people who are like countering you and insulting you,
Hundreds,
that's something
thousands.
your brain is just not built to process.
Right. And I think people have a tendency, when they see internet numbers, it's like, even if you look at the news and you just see a few things on social media, you think, well, wow, the world is crazy right now because of these few articles that I read. And you have a tendency to like over exaggerate things that are happening when it's just like a little percentage of what's going on in the world sometimes. And I think that stands true for when people start coming at you. You think the entire world hates me, but it's really not. It's just a small percentage of people
Who just happen to be the most vocal.
exactly.
I had a question, because I got a little confused with some of the settings in the documentary. You were like seated in this circle of people in a couple of points. Who were those people and where were you?
Yeah, what the heck was that?
Without giving spoilers, I guess.
Yeah. So I was in DC and I had linked up with these two ladies who wanted to bring me on tour, like a college campus tour. It was right at the beginning, so I wasn't with them for very long. And so they liked my whole cancel culture story and thought it would be cool to get me like in front of people talking about stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that wasn't a plan for the documentary. That was that came about after we had, months after we had started.
I was like,
and
is this some like
It looked
canceled anonymous?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Honestly,
really.
that should probably exist.
Yeah.
There should be like internet addiction anonymous.
They're gonna have that.
That needs to exist if it doesn't already.
People are asking, like, what is the documentary about? This is your story from Twitch streamer who was sharing relatively unproblematic opinions, and you questioned one narrative, and everything that you had built was essentially attempted to be taken from you.
Yeah, exactly. And what I would tell people is, like, even if you're not familiar with my content, or maybe you are and you hate my guts, still watch this documentary, because I think it's applicable for people who use the internet in general. Like, with all the cancel culture that you see on the internet, this documentary pretty much articulates what we don't see. Like, we see people attacking the person for the wrong opinion, but we never see what goes on the back end. Like, what happens that's offline, and pretty much this documentary explains that.
It humanized you, basically.
Yes.
That
So
was
do
the
you
goal.
guys think that this is reaching or is going to reach a lot of the people that sent you hate, or people that don't sympathize with you?
I don't know if it's, honestly, when we started filming, I was really excited, because I'm like, yo, we're gonna get back at these people. Like, I was so ready. I was bitter. But now it's like, whether they see it or not, I really don't care. I think that it could change a lot of minds for other people that maybe hold a lot of the same views, because one of the things in the documentary that rang true for me was that I was realizing, wow, I complain about how people canceled me, but I was canceling other people too in my own right. I had a lot of really warped beliefs that I didn't realize until it all came back on me. And so I think it will change a lot of other people's minds, not necessarily the people that canceled me.
I like that you called yourself out for the same behavior.
Oh, totally.
Is there a specific example where that like really set in for you?
Yeah. I mean, I had some severe Trump derangement syndrome. I hated Trump, and if you voted for him, I was like, you are a racist.
You had your best friend.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Stopped talking to her for a while, and then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, wow, well, these people, they canceled me for having an opinion and believing something, and I literally did this to my friend for having an opinion, believing something. So am I really a better person? You know what I mean? Like, I'm criticizing other people, but I'm doing the exact same thing.
I think it's kind of based that there was somebody who didn't like the new Little Mermaid, but also didn't like Trump. That's probably like one in the whole world who actually felt that way at the time. You might have been the only person.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
possible.
I like it.
Yeah.
It. And the production on this is top notch. That's the other thing.
Thank
When I watch these types of documentaries, like, I have a very hard, my attention span, guys, it's short. My brain has been destroyed by the internet and various things. So to sit through something and get through it all in one sitting, like, the reason why I like going to the movies is because it forces me to sit still for like 2 hours. I made it through this thing in one sitting, and the great thing is it's high production value. It has a clean story all the way through it. Essentially, it documents you're moving from one place to another, and it's showing you're being interviewed interspersed throughout this, and a lot of secondary footage grabbed from past events and things like that. How did you even start gaining all of it? Because that was a lot of secondary footage and other type of elements you had to gather just to put it together.
Well, for one, hearing high production value is really like massive compliment. Thank you, because we had a budget of like nothing for this, and this was taking experience from other projects that I've done in the past and just trying to do this thing that had a budget of almost nothing, as well as I possibly could. But the research and the pulling footage from everywhere, that's the years. That's like nearly 3 years. Yeah. It's just like the time. For the first 2 years of working on this documentary, I didn't do anything else.
There was like a couple of shots from like, how did he get a high quality version of that video? Like, there's like news broadcasts and stuff that were full quality.
I searched high and low for so many different things. I probably know Vanessa's timeline better than she does. Yeah. At this point.
You're a Vanessa historian.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. I feel a bit creepy about it, but I had a thought recently about this, that because I was really the only one to work on this on the back end, I had my business partners help me film it on the front end. But even they weren't even there for all of the shoots either. And then we had composers who did the soundtrack. Everything other than that was just Graeme sitting in an office editing for 3 years. And that's where it comes from.
How did you guys decide that like you wouldn't narrate this from a first person perspective, that rather you would narrate it second person?
I mean, initially...
Or sorry, third person.
Yeah. I mean, initially I was... I didn't really even want the narration in there. I wanted to see if I could connect everything without having it in there at all. I had earlier versions that had more of my narration, but it was more... I had actually tried to get Vanessa to narrate some of it. And
No.
She's great in an interview setting, but in a setting where she has to say, a series of things that happen in this particular order, she's not an actor, guys.
Nah.
She's not an actor.
I could do improv though. I'll do that.
No, she does great in that sense, but that was asking too much. And I realized that I needed to do it, or I need to hire someone else to do it. And because we had a budget of $0, I was like, well, I don't have any money to offer a narrator, so I'm just going to do it.
Well, it looks high budget.
Well, thank you.
For sure.
Do you feel like you learned any? Did you come to any conclusions that you may not have known how? Because how you came together is so unique, right? He just reaches out to you. Did you come to learn anything from this?
From the social side or the work side?
Both.
The social side, no. I think the social side, I have had a pretty consistent vision of the way that people react to stuff. It's just like, you got to know how humans are. But from the work side, absolutely. Like when we first started shooting it, we had done a stream on your channel, and this was like at the very end of the first week of filming, and had a little special announcement that we were doing this. And we came, myself and my business partner Thomas came on the stream, and we told people who we were, and I had estimated that I was going to have something watchable by like August or September of that first year. And that was just total naivety. I had no idea how long it was going to take to do something at the standard that I had for a film. I was not going to release something that felt like it was a YouTube video. It needed to look like a production that you could run into on Netflix in regards to the value of it. And that takes forever. It takes so long.
Not a video essay that you would see on
Right.
commentary channels, but
Right.
something that would really be like streamed.
A film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
what I
you
did.
accomplished that. And it makes perfect sense that you only connected with each other because you had the open-mindedness to click on a video where someone was voicing opinions that are different from your own. That
Right.
none of this would have happened if you weren't open-minded enough to do that.
I
It's
suppose
poetic if you think about it like that.
I hadn't thought about that.
Stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave.
Also,
Truly.
I imagine that the distributions, because it's on Lore TV.
Correct.
So I imagine that one of the hardest parts for getting something like this out here is finding proper distribution.
Yeah, so this is, for everyone out there, you probably have not heard of this platform, Lore.
Because we want to show people where they can find this, because
Yeah.
one of the hardest things trying to explain to people how they can actually watch it, because it's not on YouTube, it's somewhere specific.
Yeah, so the truth is, this production, I don't know where else it would be picked up. Like, I'm almost positive Netflix would have no desire
No.
to have this.
Tubi maybe. Tubi. Like
I know
something
I know so little about Tubi.
No, no, because like we had on someone who actually got a film on there, the film Exemplum, Paul.
Right, Paul Bois from Breitbart.
He has a film on there, and it's a religious film, and it had like a $9,000 budget, and he made it all himself. So it might be worth honestly looking into that. But so right now it's on Lore TV.
Yeah, it's on Lore. So Lore is a platform that they approached me because they had heard I was making this documentary and wanted to have the film on their platform. Lore is a platform that is Christian based, that is trying to create a place where you can find media that was made by Christians. But if anyone out there is familiar enough with Christian film and music, it sucks.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad, and that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that Christian film and music has that reputation. But Lore is trying to find and prioritize lifting up the artists that care actually about the craft. They don't want to be censored by Hollywood, but they also don't want to be censored by, as they say, church ladies. and that is so much of what Christian film and music is like. Christian film is just the Hallmark Channel with Christian messages.
Guys,
And-
I've actually I've pinned the link to the actual Lore TV.
Thank you.
Lore.tv/project/Gothix.
Yep. LOOR.TV.
Yes.
So it's pinned right there in the description here, and it's in the description box. It's also in the live chat pin. So go ahead and check it out there.
But you don't want it to be good for a Christian movie. You want it
Right,
to
you
just
want to
be
be good. Yeah, it just needs to be good, and that was the goal from the beginning.
Yeah.
This just needs to be something that is worth watching. It's not. You should not get extra credit in the same way that we were talking about. Someone shouldn't get hired because they're black. Christians shouldn't watch my film because they're Christians.
Right.
They should watch it because it's good. If it's not good, don't watch it. If you don't think it's gonna be good in that sense, don't watch it. We don't deserve that. It just needs to be good.
Let's show the trailer. Let's go ahead and show the trailer here so that people can see what they're working with. Again, we did show this the first time around, but our audience is there's more people watching now. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer, and you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. So here we go.
This is the sad one, you guys said?
This is the sad one.
The super sad one?
Good one.
There is no redemption. There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story, and he was just like, oh, wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of black friend.
Breaks on that for a while. I don't know how much out of this time I need right now. I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself. I think it's time for me to take a break. Like, I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now. They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white, because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this.
Seeing people automatically say, okay, the reason you have a problem with this is because you're racist is an issue for me. I said, we need to stop doing this. I'm talking in a matter of 24 hours, I became...
Over the course of 4 days, I had more racism towards me from other people that looked like me than in my entire existence on this planet.
I love that shot.
Thank you.
What's the next step once they realize I can't, attack someone on social media and make them disappear? So what do we got to do now? Is physical assault okay? And I just see like these pools of blood, and I'm like, okay, I'm panicking now.
It's sad.
Violent.
So sad. People still watch this and they think it just happened. They'll
Yeah.
message me, "Are you okay?" This is like 3 years ago.
Yes, I'm okay. Watch the movie.
That was the long boring.
Actually,
reason, right?
I'm not going to tell you if I'm okay. Watch the movie.
That's right.
You'll
yeah.
find
Watch
out
the
in the
movie
movie
and find out if I'm okay.
So I'm not giving you spoilers. You're gonna have to figure it out for yourself.
Maybe I'm not okay. I don't know.
It's just, look, guys, I do not watch a whole lot of documentaries, okay? I tend to find that most of the time when I watch them, I get really, really distracted really, really easily. I think it is because it is within the realm of where I'm operating now, whether because of the sphere, what I do for work. But it spoke to me greatly because you were very, very willing to be open and raw with when he's interviewing you, when he's asking you questions. You didn't hold back and try to protect your feelings or how you felt about things. And that type of raw honesty is hard to find, especially in a sphere like this where a lot of people just aren't going to put that that part of themselves out there for people. Was that difficult to do?
Not at all. I was dead inside, so I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just go with it. What do I have to lose at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I like that.
Sequel?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask that. Sequel in the
He's
works?
tired of looking at my face.
I'm very.
Gothix 2 Electric Boogaloo. Let's go.
Can you
Yeah,
give
it's
us any hints about what's next for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would give hints if I knew what was next for me.
Okay,
Right
cool.
now, it's sort of an open plane of possible projects, and Brett's feeling about documentaries, like that is kind of how I generally feel. I'm not looking for documentaries generally. I'm very much a person who's into film, but I did the documentary because it felt like something I needed to do, and I needed to sort of import the beginnings of my understandings of film into it. I would like to do something in the world of narrative fiction as opposed to documentary, but I'm also not opposed to doing another documentary. It all just sort of has to be the right thing, whatever the right thing is. But whatever it is, things cost money, and it was a miracle that this thing got made. So, it might come down to budget that causes whatever happens next. But I have ideas. I have a lot of ideas, but who knows?
Cool.
Post documentary, post all that has happened to you, how do you feel about where you are now?
I mean, I feel great. I don't know where I'm going, but I definitely my outlook on life is so much better than before. And it's like the peace that I have in not being afraid of the mob is like undescribable. And yeah, thank you, Graeme, for being persistent.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
One of the things you hear a lot is when this actually happens to them and that many people turn on you that quickly, all for speaking your mind is they say, I feel free now. After the initial reaction kind of sits for a while, and then you're able to get through it and you realize that you're going to make it, there's an unbelievable sense of freedom that comes from that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I don't care if people want to stop being my friend, which a lot of the people that attacked me were people that I considered my friends. I don't care if my subscriber count goes down or I don't get sponsorships anymore. Like, I just don't care. I don't worship money. I don't worship attention. And I can confidently say that and not feel as though like I have nothing else going on in my life anymore, because those are not the things that keep my life running. Yeah. And for a lot of people in the content creation realm, I think that is the end all be all for them, is just my platform that I have to protect it. And if my audience doesn't like what I say, I have to make like 10 apology videos on YouTube and kowtow to whatever the mob says.
Apology videos are cringe anyway.
Oddly enough, I would imagine that given the audience that has been cultivated, that not being apologetic for your views actually works, right? Because they appreciate the honesty even if they disagree with it.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line too, because that can also turn into pride if you think that you can never say anything that's wrong, and that I'm okay with. Like, if I misspeak in a video and I can say, hey, I apologize, right? But like, just the idea of me apologizing to what I call the void, just random people on the internet being offended about something that I say, that's entirely different.
Yeah. If you have to apologize to a person, not to a large entity that you have no ability to control the constant opinion of, the entirety opinion of.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. And honestly, guys, fantastic work. I do want people, the link is there in the description box. It is also there, pinned comment here in the live link. I do think you guys should go and check that out. I do think these things, we talk a lot of times about the parallel economy and how the idea of supporting people with values similar to yours matters. And this is one of those cases where I think it's worth your time. I think that it's like what, an hour and 25 minutes.
And if you do sign up to Lore, use the code Gothix when you sign up. You'll get 10% off, and it supports us directly. So yeah, we need it.
Awesome. All right, guys, and then let them know. The links for their social medias are in the description as well. Watch it, and then let them know what you thought of it.
Yes, and be honest.
Yes.
Even if you hated it.
Yeah, even if you hated it. If
Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, Letterboxd. Go and review it and be honest about what you think about it, because we're not looking for just a bunch of fanatic fans that are just giving it nothing but 10 out of 10s, because then people start getting suspicious about what the thing actually is. But be honest about it. We're not looking for praise undeservedly.
Awesome. All right, Mary, let's finish these super chats.
Yes, amazingly, we did not miss any $20 super chats during that time. So we're starting from the top. Taxi Platy said, Brett, we will show video to Dane, no other coworker. They want us to show People's Joker to Dane, but Dane's not really on the show that often.
The next time Dane has time to be on the show, we will absolutely bully him with that.
Okay, no one tell him. Corey Anderson said, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, just started yesterday. Any tips? I don't know. I don't have any tips for you. I'm not a gamer.
No?
Haven't played it.
Arisaka the Dapper Goose said Hollywood's problem with actresses is that they don't value mothers, either young and sexually exploitable or the wise matriarch. Enjoy Buffy, Mary. Yeah, that's right. They do that false dichotomy.
Say that again now?
They don't value mothers as an archetype, basically.
No, I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, like the reason why they would always go with the single father in a lot of those stories. Like, think about old Hollywood, like all the old TV shows. We always talk about like Nickelodeon and Disney, the dead parents.
It seems like the only moms that get celebrated in pop culture are single moms, basically. And it's because they're single moms, because like that's more stunning and brave.
We got a $20 one here from, what does it say?
Nobody homie.
Okay.
He said, Moscow here. Graham's mind is so openness, much cool, very well. I saw this doc in dozens of stages of completion, but the end result still left me shook. Vanessa will change many lives, whether in the doc or in person.
I don't know who that is, but if I had to guess, John, is that you, John Hill? I don't know.
I don't know how he would have seen it in all of its stages.
Yeah, well, I had a few people that I was talking with during the production and showing it, getting some ideas, some advice, and John Hill and Kenny Hill, his wife, I showed the first cut to, and it totally changed their commentary and our discussion about it. Changed the documentary in a massive way pretty early on, and it was so necessary. By the end, I think I was at the 7th cut. The final cut is the 7th cut. Yeah, it was a lot.
Nice.
But thank you, John Hill.
I like your
Kenny Hill.
dedication to never doing anything shittily.
Put that up on my wall.
I like that word.
Shane H. Wilder said, P-Valley, don't they have restrooms at Stars? And then he said, Brett, I got you. It will be clipped.
Yes.
Saying what?
It was when I forget what it was you said, but I asked him to clip something you said. Does anybody remember? I already forgot.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The ninja from Pop Culture Planet said Sistas is just off-brand sister.
Oh, well, you can't top the original sister. It'd be like trying to make Moesha now. You can't make Moesha now. I love that show.
Chado Jackson said, point of fact, wokeness existed in the arts long before he entered acting school.
Dude, Chad, love you, man.
It's absolutely true too. Like, I mean, these values have gone back to Hollywood for a very, very long time. It's just back in the day, they had financiers and people that didn't get investment from outside sources, so they had to make something that was interesting to the largest demographic possible. Meaning, when they say general audiences, they mean it was supposed to appeal to everyone, not just small demographics. That's also kind of been put by the wayside too because of the amount of streaming services and just the brunt of crap that's coming out now. There's so much stuff that's getting made. That article we looked at said like 560 new shows. Could you name even 15 new shows? I couldn't, and I do this for work.
Another one from Chado Jackson said, DEI, they say, is the moral response to... Thank you! It's the moral response to thank you. Is the moral response to whiteness, i.e. decency, order, law, etc. They ask what we reimagine a society that doesn't criminalize blackness, yet never define what blackness is.
Well, that's the type of general language that they love to use. It's flowery language. They're saying a whole lot without saying anything at all.
So if you don't know who Chado Jackson is, by the way, he is one of the people responsible for the Uncle Tom documentary series. It's Uncle Tom 1 and 2. And Uncle Tom 1 is part of the story for Vanessa's story, for that matter. But Uncle Tom 2, strongly recommend going to watch that. Yeah, it's so unbelievably good.
We got another $20 super chat from Frank Berry. Cheers for getting Graeme and Vanessa Gothix on the cast. The doc is well worth your time. Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely is. Go check it out, guys. Please.
Click the link. Not that Jon Stewart said, I work for a global multi-billion-dollar company. They don't pay for Windows licenses on all the company's PCs. Wow.
I like the idea that they just torrent stuff at the
really is the almighty
company.
dollar.
There's just like every computer you go work at some Fortune 500 company, they all open to Pirate Bay. Like,
D Claw, I don't know, DC Law said, happy to catch my PCC live while at work delivering for UPS. Keep up the great work, Brett and Mary. And I have to say, we need more Ghost Girl on IRL. Yeah, I'll be on IRL soon. I don't know when, but look out for me. Not that Jon Stewart said, Mary out here booping toes. We used to be a country.
What?
I promise you I wasn't booping the word toes.
Yes.
It was something else.
It was feet.
Yes. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett over here like, I'll take any body double as long as it's not Florence Pugh.
Basically, yeah. Like, as long as it's not the person.
That was the worst part
with
of Oppenheimer.
Reverse teardrop titties. I don't want it. No, thank you.
No thanks. The OG Big Poppy said, "Can we get PCC uncensored content and host backstory?"
It wouldn't be, at least for me, it wouldn't even be that interesting. Like, I'm not that interesting.
Backstory.
There's nothing about me that needs to be uncensored. I'm just not that interesting of a person.
I don't have a backstory yet. I'm not done.
She's literally too young to have a backstory. Like, give her a couple of years.
Lancer said, "Before Tim leaves Iowa, have him get top Iowa sirloin steaks from Fairway and Iowa Smokehouse summer sausage and beef sticks. Best meat in the USA."
Send him a message now.
I don't know. Is this like your thing that you're promoting?
If so, that was a fantastic promotion.
Yeah.
That was some
I'm
chatter from
intrigued.
Hawaii. They just heard about it.
Urashima Otaru said, "Firefly was forgettable for me. I decided to finally sit down and watch every episode. Halfway through, I realized I had already watched all of it." Oh.
It's because it got canceled. Yeah.
The Real Hydro PX said, "Happy Friday. Am I the only one who thinks Mary and Brett would make a cute couple?"
Yes.
Yes, you are.
You're literally the only one.
Yes, unfortunately, you are the only one.
Half the time, people in the chat are wondering whether we're fighting.
No, they literally think that I abuse you.
Yes. Well, they think they're like, was there tension in
If
the
it is
in
a
the room
relationship,
that day?
it's definitely a violent
It's an abusive one. Yes.
They are sitting as far apart from each other.
Here's the
intentional.
and just like there are no men's summits, there's no men's abuse shelters either. So I have nowhere to go.
True.
Okay, that's the problem here. She could, if this was happening to her, she could go to any number of abuse
I
shelters.
throw stacks of money at you.
She does.
Well, the men's abuse shelter is just the outdoors.
Go camping for a week and get over it.
DCNC said, "Gothix, love to make a movie with you. I'm a method actor. Just go with it." And then he said, "Bretty, at least with the chick in the car park, it was steak and not cake."
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I have a big. You ever watch those videos where it's like, is it this or cake?
Yeah.
And it's never the other thing. It's always cake.
Right.
Is it steak or cake? It's always cake.
It's always cake. It's there's no drama. There's no build up. I know what it's going to be every time. At least this person did make actual steak. And from what it looked like in that video, different cuts of steak, which is impressive.
In the parking lot.
Yes.
Hammy said, "Hi, Marmy and Brep. Tell Shamu he's a chubby boy. Love, rock me."
I don't know what any of that
like
means,
there's a
but
backstory
I
to
kind of
that.
want to frame it.
I guess our names are Marmy and Brep now.
Marmy's good. It sounds very Dukes of
Marmy.
Hazzard.
Yeah, I approve of Brep.
Disco Jensen said, "Hi, Gothix and Graeme. Question: Taylor Swift is the Antichrist? Thoughts? Thoughts on that?"
If you read your Bible, you would know that there are many Taylor Swifts, okay, that are prophesied. Okay,
There's
not just one.
There's a big one here from I can't pronounce that name.
Killian Duploy? I don't know. I will definitely check out that documentary. Gothix, love your content. That aside, Japan is getting more and more success with their manga, anime, and games. Now movies, Godzilla -1, because people are sick and tired of Hollywood's woke BS.
Yeah, they don't appease any group specifically, so they don't work to appease people or do art by committee, which is why it resonates with people. Honestly, the same reason why certain content creators end up doing better, right? Because they learn that they can't make their content by committee. They have to make something that's true to who they are as a person. Just like their art, it resonates. Whereas most of Hollywood's art now is designed to be as inoffensive as possible, which oddly enough ends up making it more offensive.
Courier626 said, "Good show today. Definitely going to check that out." And then Shane H. Wilder said, "Mary." Okay, I'm not going to read that.
You wait. You gotta. No, I'm not going to read that one from Shane.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. He's
Can you
usually
read
a
it,
good
Brett?
boy.
Can you read
but
it?
not this time.
No, I'm lost in the. I'm lost in the stuff over here.
That definitely wasn't the last one, though.
No,
there are
there's-
more, but they're not showing up for me yet.
Okay. Where did you leave off? I'm gonna have to find it here because I didn't lose yours. Who was the last one? Shane.
Shane H. Wilder was the last one. You're way above.
It's down
Yeah.
farther. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, you're not going to read that, are you? Next from Corey Anderson. Let's see that forehead.
He said Mary does in fact beat Brett off camera. There you go. I read it.
Well, now you're going to get clips.
Yeah.
But
No, she beats me up off camera.
Corey Anderson wanted to see my forehead. No, not allowed. It's censored. That'll be on PCC Uncensored. Corey Anderson said, I finally understand Mocha is code for Mary beating Brett, and that is why there will be no justice for Mocha.
That is not true. Now you're gaslighting, and it's like a weird type of like, I don't know.
Oh,
but
I missed this one.
Yeah.
Not that Jon Stewart said, don't hide your bruises, Brett. # justice for Brett.
Yes, that's right, guys. And you can
I
donate
deny
to my
all
GoFundMe,
allegations.
and I will set up a GoFundMe for myself so that I can get away and get help. It's gonna be great. All right, in the chat, Falling Night says Mary kicks shins.
That's ruthless.
Yes, shin kicking is not good. You don't want to do that. One more here from Shane H. Wilder. He says, I did not intend it that way. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I understand that you didn't intend it that way, Shane. No hard feelings, really.
There's one more.
But I only emotionally abuse Brett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Obviously.
I'm very, very mentally strong, so I put up with it every day. It's
The
good.
strongest I've met.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said the meta of the PCC chat is the best thing about this show. We appreciate that for a lot of you. It's really about the chat.
Most of them are.
We're just
speaking
background noise
for a lot of it. Yeah, like a lot of times they're having their own discussions in there every single day, and we just kind of exist in the peripheral.
I like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, and would you please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you so much. Again, guys, we have passed 95,000 subscribers. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So you guys, I want you both to shout yourself out. Gothix, please tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube at Gothix TV, and you can find the documentary on lore.tv. Use code Gothix.
Perfect. Graeme.
So you can find me on Instagram. I just changed my handle from Cracker Graeme, because that was a nickname that I used to have, to Director Graeme. And the spelling is weird, so I don't know.
Spell it.
Graeme. Director Grimey. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, it's Gramistan. And yeah, the documentary, lore.tv. Go there, subscribe. Code Gothix.
Perfect.
I really wish your Instagram username was Instagram.
You know, I wish it was too, but it's taken.
Damn it. Who is the other Graeme with a weird spelling?
Some guy in Scotland.
You offer to buy it from him? You should offer to buy it from
That'd be pricier than I can probably justify.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
We got a couple more there.
We did.
Got those?
No, I don't.
Okay, we got one here from Pat the Plumber. Says, little Brett know that all he had to do was mention Buffy and he'd have to hire someone to refill the money guns. That is true.
Yeah, we're running low.
We're running low. Also, Shane H. Walder just says, LOL. The ninja from Pop Culture Planet says, justice for Brett is justice for Mocha. No, do not put me in the same league as that derpy cat. I hate that cat. Don't do that. Stop it. Thank you.
No, we can't hear
and
you.
one more from DCNC says, Greamy. That's what we got.
Greamy.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you prefer to listen rather than watch. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we'll be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.